Live betting reaction to all of the night's action. You're tuned in to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Patrick Meagher, Dustin Swedelson, VSiN Live.
All right, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, as we say hi on a Tuesday. So busy week. We've got just 2 days out from the U.S. Open, Oakmont Country Club there in Pennsylvania. So the golf is back with the major. We've got a ton of baseball, including Dustin's Mets. He's coming up in about 8 minutes. Maybe we've got a bet Nats Mets with a goofy grin on his face, coming off a very successful solo show, cashing out on VSiN last night. Dustin Swedelson feeling himself, which is always a dangerous proposition as he sits up atop his perch there at the Wynn SiriusXM studios in Las Vegas. He likes it because John Goulet and the rest of the crew just watch him broadcast, which is always a good thing. I'm Patrick Meagher, as we say hi. Naya Hardman, New York City. Ryan Smith, Las Vegas on YouTube at VSiN Live. One thing we can't, by the way, we've got a show announcement coming up in just a bit. You're going to want to stick around for that. Little smile from Dustin. One thing that we do know, and I'll just say this. I don't know if people have been discussing it. I'm sure they have. This NBA schedule is a freaking disaster. How stupid. I mean, it's really not that hard to sit down. I've got one right here. Those of you watching on YouTube, it's called the phone. And right there in the left-hand corner, it's called the calendar. And I'll pull it open. And last time we played in the NBA was Sunday. Why don't we give them a game on Tuesday? And then here's another thing. We can give them another game on Thursday, so we avoid Friday night because Friday night's a disaster for viewership. Nobody's going to watch Oklahoma City and Indiana unless you're losers like us on a Friday night. You're going to go out and do things, but that's the schedule. We've got a huge break in between, a series that isn't rating. To be fair, Dustin's still confused why the smaller markets aren't picking up those ratings. But they're just, I mean, these are these are record lows. We had a terrible game one, great final 5 minutes. We had a disastrous game two on Sunday. So what they do, they said, we'll give them a few days to let them cool off with all the excitement and run it back on Wednesday, game three in Indianapolis. So we'll get to the NBA coming up here in just a bit. Of course, the hockey remains a big story. We had two instant classics in game Alcaraz and your boy Sinner. In France, we had an instant classic in game one and game two with overtime and double overtime in Edmonton. And then we got a dud last night with Florida absolutely pummeling the Oilers. There's a couple of things that I want to get into with that. I thought it was a bad decision to pull the goalie, and I'll get into why with that. So that is the basketball. Which we're going to hold our breaths for another 24 hours. Hopefully it does get played then. That is the hockey, which, of course, momentum, people, momentum. That's all we're asking for as a sport fan. Like, we just came off hockey last night. Bam, give us basketball tomorrow. What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? And then speaking of what are you doing, Rob Manfred runs baseball. And the baseball season ongoing. A lot of injuries here with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Probably still win the World Series, regardless, as they start to get a little healthy. Steve Torre's Bombers, the Yankees in the mix. The Red Sox, what I'm told, not a very good baseball team, Dustin says. His Mets, I was actually just talking to a Mets fan this morning, a friend of mine, and he said, he starts everything with bro. And he said, bro, it's old Joe Beningo. He starts out, he said, bro, I've got 4 seats, and when the Tigers play the Mets in the World Series, one of them is yours. And I said, you know what? I took a step back, and we could look at the market coming up here a little bit later. I took a step back, and I said, that's a possibility. The Tigers could represent the AL, and, of course, the Mets could represent the NL. So there's something to that. Again, show announcement coming up in just a bit. But as we open it up, 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. If you are betting baseball, the best place to go check it out is VSiN.com. You can sign up for $9 through August 1st. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe. Promo code is serious because that is where this broadcast is emanating from. Dustin Swedelson wiping the cold out of his eyes as he did grind for 3 extra hours last night. Played a little this or that, smash or pass on cashing out on VSiN last night. I'll ask you, did you bet the Mets hosting the Nats?
I have a bet. It is just a player prop. It's up at VSiN.com/picks. and it's on the opposing pitcher for the Nationals. It's Mackenzie Gore. Mackenzie Gore has been on an absolute heater. I think he's a guy, maybe not this year, but next year can contend for the Cy Young. He's gone over 6.5 strikeouts in 7 straight games. It was even money this morning. We smashed Mackenzie Gore over 6.5 Ks today. I love the play.
I bet we did, brother. I bet we did. Just one guest on the program tonight, Mike Somich, part of the family, does a great job. We had a fun broadcast on VSiN and Mad Dog Sports Radio for the Belmont over the weekend. Somich is he's a great one. He's going to join us. So the rest of it is you. As I mentioned, the number 888-623-3646. And these are the shows. If you're listen, Silver, you hippie. If you're not going to give us basketball, we're going to get weird. That's what we do. So we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna get a little weird tonight on the program for 3 hours.
Well, how about this? Pick your phone up real quick. Let's play this game. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna do this live on the air.
This may not end well. I just want to let everybody know.
Just pick
you're
up
calling me. Okay,
I'm calling you.
Hey, Dustin.
See, look, we're doing a phone conversation. That's what Gary Bettman and Adam Silver could have done to ensure we don't have a night during the championship round of both of their sports. For us to not have one night where there's nothing happening. What are we doing here? Why isn't there a game? How did they not figure this out? You have one opportunity where your sports are relevant. Because, by the way, when you begin, no one pays attention in October. No one pays attention in November. Christmas Day, the NBA thought that's when their season really started, but the NFL took that from you too. So basically, when I look at the calendar, all you have is this run where it's every other night of hockey, basketball, where people could be paying attention. Instead, you gave us nothing on a Tuesday.
I'm right there with you. Lockstep, as they say. The Knicks are in the news, as it appears Jason Kidd and the Knicks have mutual interests. Why? On both sides.
Dude, what are we doing?
Why would the Knicks want a guy that apparently the Mavs don't want? And why would Jason Kidd want a team that we probably saw the ceiling and he's about to get Cooper Flagg? What am I missing here? What am I missing?
No, here's the question. Does Jason Kidd go to New York and make them a better basketball team? And by the way, the only reason you want Jason Kidd if you're the Knicks is because you believe he has a relationship with Giannis, and that will lure Giannis out of Milwaukee to the Big Apple. You don't know if that's definitely going to happen. And by the way, there's a reason Jason Kidd was forced out in Milwaukee to begin with. So let's remember all of that. And then secondly, if you're Jason Kidd, why would you want to coach a Knicks team that has no depth, has 2 guys who are really good offensive players and don't play defense, have to find a way to get Mikal Bridges back to being the player he was a couple years ago? Why would you go for that when in your backyard, the team you're with right now in Dallas, you not only are you getting Cooper Flagg, but we can make fun of the Luka trade all we want. That is a very solid team that should contend in the West next year.
True. And you mentioned Jason Kidd potentially luring Giannis. Giannis certainly comes with a lure, but I think he wants to lure him, and that is
same word.
Hey,
same word.
It is. No, you're right. Big night for Dustin.
I used a word last night on the VSiN show solo where everyone thought I made it up. I used fastidious, and I stole it from you, and I thought I used it right. And then when everyone questioned if it was a word, I panicked and didn't know if I really used a real word, so I had to Google it. And then I realized I did use it correctly. But there was a moment where I realized I just co-opted a word you used without knowing what it means.
You know what? You hit him with fastidious. That's pretty good for that time slot. You know what I'm saying? Dustin Swedelson, of course, late last night cashing out on VSiN. And we had some fun with it leading up. How'd it go? Solo hosting. I thought you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. I mean, you started off by saying I was feeling myself after a solo show. I didn't even use any tissues or lotion either by myself. So I thought it was fun.
I'd like to note that was a genuine compliment. And here you go fighting back like a little boy.
Look, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It's a fun little game to play with yourself. Like, how much do I have on this topic? And apparently I can talk a lot. I didn't realize. I know everyone around me realizes I don't shut up. But once there's an opportunity, 10-minute segments to just start speaking, realize I have a lot to say about a lot of things. And I now feel bad for everyone that I waterboard with information.
Yeah, I thought you did a great job. It's mostly during the commercials. It's just on and on. I thought you did a great job. I thought you looked dapper. I even texted you because if you're watching VSiN and watching Dustin last night hosting, his hair looked nice. Now, he's got a bald spot the size of a Cadillac behind the front, but his hair looked great. So I said, your hair looks great because there was a contrast. There was a commercial. There's the bald cam at Win. There's a contrast because they go to a commercial, and Dustin was one of the participants in a VSiN commercial, and he had the buzz cut like he's G.I. Joe. And I just said, you can't do it anymore, big guy. No, he did say it was like 40 pounds ago, which is more emblematic of a person that's a yo-yo. But the hair was looking good. The suit was looking dapper. And the information had me on the edge of my seat.
Who knew I cared this much about hockey? Because I have to tell you, I got triggered. And we're on opposite sides of the hockey thing. I don't think there's any way Edmonton could put Stuart Skinner in net. I think his confidence is completely gone. That is a dude who is lost right now, and he needs to sit in timeout and just chill and not think about hockey for a minute. Because that was one thing that jumped out to me last night doing the show. Immediate reaction was, I'm nervous for Edmonton. Despite thinking Florida was going to win the whole thing, I'm nervous for Edmonton because the body language was ugly.
How much time was left when they pulled Skinner?
Not that much.
It doesn't matter, but it was later. And it was a 6-1 beatdown. Remember, the Oilers pulled 2-1, and then Skinner gave up a couple of real soft goals. Like, he gave up 3 softies in the game. But here is my take on pulling the goalie. I think it's a desperate sign of weakness. If you're going to get beat, leave the goalie in, send a signal to your bench and the other bench. We're not desperate. We're not going to have a decision going into Game 4. Keep Skinner in there. It worked in the earlier rounds where you pulled him, but guess what? There's only potentially, 4 games left. I think Skinner gave up some softies. You show some confidence in goalie 1. You leave him in there. You don't start in Game 3 showing signs of weakness. I understand in hockey you don't want to further depreciate the confidence of a goalie, but he knows what he's doing. Guy grew up in Edmonton. He's been the Edmonton goaltender one for a while. He gave up some softies. Leave him in there. Don't treat him like a bitch. I hated it. I hated pulling him.
See,
now you can start whoever the donk is behind him, Pritchett or whatever you want to call him. You can start him in Game 4. You leave Skinner in, and you don't show weakness. That's all I'm saying.
But if you're down 3-1 at that point, what's it matter? Oh, you're just saying last night you don't like.
Correct. Yeah. No, that's it. I don't care. I'm talking about Game 4.
I'm talking about Game 4. Game 4, you can't play Skinner. You can't have him out on the ice. He's just an issue. He's a shell of himself. And maybe he can get right with maybe these 2 days of rest, right? Maybe that's the thing he needs. Or maybe he's like me and he ruminates on the negative thoughts over and over again, and it just adds to this the lack of confidence that he's showing as a goalie. Couple of those goals, were they good shots, or were they just him not knowing where he was in terms of being in front of the net? They went blocker side over it twice, where I thought he should have stopped them. Also, the one in overtime that won the game in Game 2 felt like a puck that should have been stopped as well by Skinner. I just think he doesn't give you the best chance to win. And if you're the Oilers, you cannot go down 3-1 now.
Yeah, I think Mike Somich, who's going to join us later in the program, he had the best line where he said the breakaway from Bennett was like an empty net because Skinner was so fooled that you could tell the confidence wasn't there. But again, just to back up, I want to let my bench know. I want to let the other bench know. Yeah, we got our asses whipped. Yes, Skinner wasn't great in the game, but no, we're not scared. No, we're not pulling him. We'll have a decision to make after this game, but he's going to ride this out. We're going to ride this out as a team. Again, the confidence thing can go one of 2 ways with a goaltender, and I have no issue if the accountant behind the bench there with the Edmonton Oilers, Knobloch, wants to start the backup. But I don't pull Skinner last night. They got their asses beat. Plain and simple.
Also, literally got their asses beat because they just decided they wanted to fight at the end a bunch, and they lost those fights. So
yeah, you don't want to fight. You don't want to fight the Florida Panthers.
No. It wasn't just Skinner. I think that's the thing. It felt like very early on, every time you and I looked up during the game, it was like, oh, Florida's on a power play. Oh, Florida's on another power play. Oilers had 21 penalties, 85 penalty minutes. They gave Florida 11 power plays. That's not a recipe for winning, especially at this point in the season in the final. Like you cannot be that sloppy at this point in the game.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game. The game was a power play. If we're being honest, it was a power play one of two ways. Now, I like special teams in hockey. It makes it interesting, but that felt a little intense. The series is getting chippy, and this is what happens in every hockey series in the playoffs. As the games build, so does the animosity towards one another. But we did say coming into it, these are two dead-even teams with a difference in net, and Bobrovsky was tremendous last night once again. Bob is awesome.
Yeah, and I've been thinking, because the Conn Smythe had major adjustment in the odds. After last night, Sam Bennett scored 4th goal in the series. So 4 goals, 3 games. He opened 33-1. He's now like plus 175, I saw at DraftKings. I'm curious if Bobrovsky has a case, because the Conn Smythe, while Bennett's having an awesome series and he's been really good for them, Bobrovsky's been so good in net the entire playoffs, and the award is for the entire postseason. I'm curious if Bobrovsky continues to limit an elite Edmonton offensive attack, I think he has a chance to win the award as well.
Yeah, it's a goofy award, the fact that they give it for the whole entire postseason.
Yeah.
Listen, it's the Stanley Cup final. Who's the best in the Stanley Cup final? It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But
and
am
Bob's
I going to
plus
argue with
450.
Conn Smythe?
Oh, it moved again. Bennett's down to 140. So he's 175 last night. He's plus 140, and Bobrovsky's plus 450. I would take a flyer on Bobrovsky.
What's the number on McDavid?
240, which it all set. If Edmonton's going to win, it's going to be because McDavid is either setting everyone else up or just calling his own number. So you can go plus 245 McDavid, or take Oilers to win the whole thing at plus 215. I'd rather just bet McDavid at that point.
And a price check on Draisaitl? LD?
Draisaitl is 12-1. See, that's juicy.
Okay, there's your price, people.
That's juicy. That's
you could give you a hat trick in Game 4, and all of a sudden that number's going to drop precipitously. Okay,
I gotta write that word down. Precipitously.
There it is. Fastidiously, precipitously, the big guy. Solo host. Who would have known? He told me yesterday that it was it like a 9-year anniversary of working together or something yesterday?
No, it's coming up 5 days from now. It'll be 9 years.
And certainly, I'm not great with dates. I'm better with dates than the NBA, because I would have been playing basketball today, called Tuesday, after a Sunday game. But I'm not great with dates. It's not that I don't love the big guy. I had no clue. I had no clue what year it was, but 9 years. Now, who would have thunk it when he walked in with that hangdog look on his face, confused, scared of Los Angeles 9 years ago? It didn't really. The first time he was brought on the air, I clowned him for playing video games, and he took his ball and ran home. He was not happy. He was very, very perturbed, and got very sensitive. And last night, hosting solo, how far you love to see the kids come up at 40.
I appreciate you, because it wouldn't have happened without you. I wouldn't have gotten out of my own head to do it without you. But I should also add, we haven't been together 9 years. We're like Ross and Rachel. There were a couple breaks in there where we were separated, but we always came back.
Hey, God bless for the breaks. You know what I'm saying, big guy. From both sides, I'm sure. When we come back, we do have a show announcement. So we'll get to that, and we'll take your calls. 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. So it's an open menu because of this stupid delay. We also have Aaron Rodgers sound and a very special announcement from Aaron Rodgers, who never makes anything about him. Never. Which, I'm just kidding. He makes everything about him, and he did as the intro presser with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're just getting started. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, check out the daily newsletter, which is one of the more popular features over at VSiN.com. Of course, it's your daily betting menu with free picks, and there's no obligation. It's completely free. Go to VSiN.com/newsletter. Part of the crew at VSiN is out at the College World Series in Omaha. Going to be a lot of updates there with a lot of bets. So VSiN.com/newsletter. All you have to do is enter your email address, and you're good to go. I'm Patrick Meagher as we welcome you back. Dustin Swedelson, just one guest today, so feel free. 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. A little intimidating with the big guy as a solo host. When you say solo host, you think Russo, you think Buck, you think Costas, and you think Swedelson. That's what I say. We do have, with all that's been happening at the network, we got a little show announcement to get to here in just a bit. We do have Rodgers sound as well. Aaron Rodgers introduced as the Nets Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. Just a little tease. He did announce that he got married in the presser, and I cannot confirm if he got married to Joe Rogan, but we shall find out as the day progresses. Little humor, people. Just back off. Don't come at me. I know I'm just having fun. They like to do podcasts together. Jason Kidd to the Knicks is something that we had discussed, and Adam would like to comment on it here on VSiN Live. Adam in Nashville. Welcome, Adam.
Thanks, man. I do want to say I think that honeymoon and Aaron Rodgers' honeymoon would be lit, like absolutely lit. Like, you know, he's bringing the heat on the honeymoon, man. So I don't know, like it's gummies and everything, like everything. Anyway, so I just think about Jason Kidd, dude. And when I grew up, he was a different person. Like he was the point guard who could hit anybody from any point of the court. Now when I see Jason Kidd, all I think about is how he reacted when Luka got traded, which was super weird. Like you had an opportunity to help Dallas in that moment, and it was like a funeral, dude. Like it was so awkward. Do you guys remember this? Like, did you even hear that press conference? Like, it was weird for the whole city.
Oh, you mean when it was announced that Luka had been traded?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And he come out and he's like, you know, and the fan, and then I think AD was either there or I don't know, but it was super weird. So anyway, I hate the Knicks. I've hated them since I was little, and so I think they absolutely deserve this for what they did as far as firing a good coach and for, you know, bringing in the Pope and the Knicks again, man, saying God loves the Knicks and this is what you get. This is all rolls around to the same thing, man. You're going to end up with Jason Kidd. He's going to bring that.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right about that presser. It's a good job, Adam, bringing it up because Kidd was certainly weird in the press conference, like he was being held at gunpoint. I remember. Absolutely.
And also, you're going to have to trade for him. What is Jason Kidd?
Yeah, you got to get compensation. That's correct.
Yeah,
He's under contract.
What has he shown you as a head coach where you're like, you know what, I'm going to trade for him? Think about some of the coaches or managers who've been traded, right? We had John Gruden, right? That was a trade. Joe Madden, I believe, was traded in baseball. Tampa Bay, right? Chicago. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, maybe so. Yep.
But you have to give something up. You mean to tell me Jason Kidd is so far and away better than every option out there that you don't have to trade assets for, that you'd rather have him coach the Knicks? Show me. Show me what he's accomplished as a head coach that makes him worth that.
Well, they did the one thing you shouldn't do. They didn't listen to number one Knicks fan, not Spike Lee, but Dustin Swedelson. When Swedelson came in on a Tuesday and said, I want Mike Malone, came in on a Wednesday and said Tibbs is coach of the year. So you wanted to keep Thibs, but they decided to go in another direction.
Here's what I'd say. Oh, I'm okay with the firing, but you had to have a plan in place for who you really wanted next. And it couldn't be Jason Kidd because he already has a job.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a great plan. I would agree with you there. And Jay Wright has come out and said, I'm not interested.
Of course
so that's
not.
One down.
And then the reports are James Dolan was all over this. I saw a report over the weekend from Yahoo that James Dolan is the one who made this call. Obviously, the player interviews played a role in this. But James Dolan, who's now done with the Sphere in Vegas being built, he now wants to get back into his old business, which is meddling in Knicks business.
Okay, I see what you did. Let's go to Texas here at VSiN Live and say hi to Sean. Sean, welcome.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. So watching that, I think it was the Belmont.
Yep.
Saturday, and you just realize, like, we were robbed. Like, Sovereignty could have been one of those horses that's remembered forever, with Secretariat and a bunch of the others that have won the Triple Crown. And it's honestly, he's just going to go down as another horse that happened to win 2 legs, and we will not remember him in 10, 15 years. My biggest concern, however, though, is I think this might set a dangerous precedent where we're just not going to have people care about the Triple Crown, and they're going to race the Derby, then they're going to race the Belmont, and they're just going to skip the Preakness altogether. Which
it's a great,
I don't like, because the whole point
honestly,
of the Triple Crown.
Hold on, let me jump in for a second. I'll let you finish, but you're 100% right that the horse player was pulling against, obviously, Sovereignty, because if the plan worked from Mott and the connections, then all of a sudden the Triple Crown, moving forward, people view it a little differently inside as far as trainers and connections. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, because like now, like, because the biggest point of the Triple Crown is you want to see someone at least have the chance to go for it. Now, if the horse get injured or something happen, fine, but just refusing to race it and then saying, oh, well, he was fine, he probably would have won it, and then it worked, and I think I'm a little nervous about where we're going in the future with this.
Yeah, it's a good call. Listen, here's what you need to understand. The first horse to win all 3 races, that being the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont, was Sir Barton back in 1919. Okay, so if you go back to 1919, which is, by my math, over 100 years, if Sovereignty had won the Triple Crown, he would have been the 14th horse to do so. That is important history. He would have won the Preakness. Now, could the ride have been a little different from journalism if Sovereignty was in the race? Of course, but Sovereignty has proven now, Kentucky Derby and the Belmont, that he is the class of the 3-year-olds. And by the way, he could be a very, very, very special horse. I hope we see him in the Traverse in August at Saratoga, which is kind of like the 4th major when it comes to horse racing. Obviously onto the Breeders' Cup. But look, we efforted for Bill Mott. Bill Mott has joined us on the program. We joked about it during the break yesterday. I don't think Bill Mott heard dog killing him for 2 straight weeks, because Bill Mott's a 72-year-old horse racing lifer that just doesn't really do much except train horses. I think Bill Mott didn't get back to us because somebody close to Bill Mott, and he has kids, said, Dad, we're taking your phone away. Because Bill Mott came on this program after the Kentucky Derby and said, I got to talk to the connections. And then the very next day, it was revealed that Sovereignty would not be running in the Preakness. Bill Mott last week said, yeah, we never thought about the Preakness. Never put a thought into running Sovereignty in the Preakness. And then he went on to say, if any horse would have been ready and good to go in the Preakness, it would have been Sovereignty. That's an issue for the sport.
Yeah, I have one issue with what the caller said, that Sovereignty is just another horse. I looked it up. Only 50 horses have ever won 2 of the 3 legs of the Triple Crown. So it's not the Triple Crown. I get there's only 13 that have done it. But 50 horses all time have won 2 of the 3. And the last one to do it, would you say that this horse is just another horse in horse racing history? The last one to do it was California Chrome. Is that just another horse?
California Chrome is a great horse.
Yeah,
you're right.
So
that's a good job. And I believe only 7 horses prior, only 7 big guy prior to Sovereignty had won the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont. Oh, I understand the Belmont's not a mile and a half, but if you don't
11.
think that horse was, if you don't think that 11, if you don't think that horse was just getting started at the finish line, he would have easily gone a mile and a half with no issues. He wasn't even being asked.
The last one to win the Derby and the Belmont, 1995. I believe it was Thunder Gulch.
Gulch, that's correct. Yeah, because there's
Fleet Alex did win 2 of 3, though. It was Preakness and Belmont.
Correct, and there's been 7 horses that have won the Preakness and Belmont. Good job by you with the correction. 11 that have won the Derby and the Belmont. And look, we got jobbed. You're 100% right. I don't know. Again, I think dog and those that joined us to kind of say it was Bill Mott's decision. Bill Mott is always going to put the safety of the horse first. I think it had to do with the connections and Mott. And then Mott coming out and saying the horse was good to go, the horse would have won that race, doesn't really lend credence to the concept of horse safety. So that bothered me.
Yeah, all of it feels weird. But I do think there's an element, just because there were so many eyeballs on that race and the way Sovereignty won, where I think the mystique of the horse will grow over time, because the what if sometimes adds to the legacy. The what could have been had that horse ran all three legs. I do think we'll always remember the horse, and maybe there's some value in that for the ownership, for Bill Mott and the whole group.
Yeah, I mentioned that we did have a bit of a show announcement, so no better time than now. Listen, a lot has transpired over the past week or so here on Mad Dog Sports Radio. What's that?
It's not easy.
No, it's not. So a little show announcement, and we've been talking about this. We've been thinking about this. This has been something that has been debated a lot. And whether you want to bring Michael Jackson into the mix, Larry Bird into the mix, David Letterman into the mix, even a James Dean, again, Colonel Sanders, whoever you want to bring into the mix when we're talking about the state of Indiana, I'm here to tell you the show announcement is just this. We have been extolling the virtues of the Oklahoma City Thunder for a very long time in this program, back to February when I watched a Sunday night game and said, that's not a good team. That's a great team. They're going to win the championship. However, we got together. Tori was in the mix. Spitzy was in the mix for this show announcement. The big guy was there. And we got together, and we can officially say VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, which airs 4 to 7 West Coast time, 7 to 10 East Coast time, at least until September. We can say the show announcement is, this is a freaking Pacer show. And it's going to be a Pacer show moving forward, because I think the Indiana Pacers, and we can talk about pricing, I think the Indiana Pacers can legitimately win this series. If you think about what, and have a little fun, people, take it easy. If you think about what's transpired, yes, they were dogs on Sunday. They got blown out. They literally didn't care. There were no expectations as 10.5-point dogs in game one for them to split, obviously, in Oklahoma City. There was 11.5 in game two. The books told you this should be a 2-0 series. Indiana comes back home tied at ones. From a fan perspective, and that's what we are, you are now fighting for tickets to game three, because this is the perfect setup if you're a Pacers fan. I think there's a rumor floating around. I don't even know if it's a rumor, that every single Pacer just had a street named after them in Indiana. I mean, the team is Pacers obsessed, and the city is Pacers obsessed right now. I think they call it Naptown. Not a very big city, and that is. But again, those teams, when you're dogs of 10 and 11 points, they don't win. Indiana went to Oklahoma City and got a W, and they didn't play well in game two. That's understood. But tomorrow night, not tonight, unfortunately, tomorrow night, that little field house is going to be going nuts. And why Michael Jackson? Why Dave Letterman? Why Colonel Sanders? Because those are proud people from the state of Indiana. And the big guy and I, we are too. Just like Steve Torrey with his Indiana Hoosiers on his Indiana Nights. The show known as VSiN Live, the show announcement is we are on 4 to 7, and we are a Pacers house moving forward. I am done with the Thunder, all in on the Pacers. Thank you. No more. I have nothing else to say. No mean calls, no nothing.
You can get 4 to 1 on our Indiana Pacers right now if you think they're going to win the series. And I think that's a great number, because belief is a terrifying thing. It is a powerful thing. And that's something that the Pacers have on their side. They're going to go back home for game 3 tomorrow, 1-1. That is the perfect scenario for Indiana. They stole home court in the series. That was a massive edge that Oklahoma City was supposed to have, and Indiana took it in game 1. Game 2, as you said, completely irrelevant. Now we go back home, and you have to think about what happened last night in the hockey. The Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers game 2 on the road at Edmonton. They go to overtime. They lose that game. They're down 0-2. Game 3, they're grasping. The pressure is on them. They could as easily be down 0-3 at that point. Instead, They're in a situation where they have complete power of this series. That crowd was juiced up. I expect the same thing to be for Indiana when they go home. That crowd has been waiting for a game this big in their building with a championship on the line. And then you look to the sidelines. Mark Dagnall has been a very good coach. He has not been through what Rick Carlisle has been through. Not only is Carlisle a champion, but he's also taken several teams, including your Pistons, to the NBA Finals before. He's a guy who's great at making adjustments. He's proved that every step along the way. And I think the plan, the map, is right there for the Pacers right now to win this series. You win one of these two at home. You go back to OKC 2-2 for game 5. So what if you lose it? You win 6 game at home, and then game 7 becomes a coin flip. And the big thing, this is a question I have about Oklahoma City, because you can always rely on SGA, but what's become apparent is guys like Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren, who put them over the top over the course of 82 in the regular season. They're very up and down in the playoffs. I don't know if I can trust them, and I do believe Tyrese Halliburton and company are killers, and Carlisle's going to rely on his starters more. They're going to end up winning this series.
And I'll tag your Dagnall point. Dagnall dicked around in game 1, and I think Indiana can use that as fuel coming into game 3. Remember, he went small. Oh, you're going to start adjusting your lineup in the NBA Finals and go small just to show that you have lineup versatility. I think there's a little crack in the Thunder armor, and what has been a big-time Thunder team is now Naptown, a Pacers team. So we join the likes of Florence Henderson and David Lee Roth and Tony Stewart and Adam Driver, Babyface, Greg Kinnear, all the great Indianians, and we are a Pacers team. Now, does the show announcement, is it on the same scale as a Stephen A. Smith? Did Howard Stern invite me and the big guy on to announce that we like the Pacers in the series moving forward? No, that did not happen. I would have welcomed the invite from Stern.
No, would you?
Ooh, I mean, Stern is the all-timer.
No, you love him.
Why would I want to do it? Why would I want to work more?
You're the worst.
I don't care about people saying at me on Twitter like, "Hey, you were on Stern." So I don't know. I don't know if he'd be as interested. I don't know if he'd be as interested in us as he would in Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, yeah, what am I going to offer him? I just meant you, who, been at Sirius a long time, and he's one of your idols in the industry. And I'm always curious, because you wouldn't say yes to doing interviews anywhere. Would you go on the biggest radio show in the world, a guy you looked up to, and go on his show? And I got the answer I expected. Probably not.
I mean, the only reason anybody like that would be inviting me on is if something catastrophic happened in my personal life, and there was a story outside of just me being an idiot.
And they got to cover it up.
Yeah. Last time I checked, I didn't just sign a 5-year, $100 million deal with ESPN and gonna run for president.
and win. That's the caveat you added. He's gonna run for president. I think you said, and might win.
Hey, Steve Torrey, I'm sure he's about 3/4 of a gummy deep after his program today, but if he heard the fact that we were going to have a show announcement, he can rest easy. It's simply that we like the Indiana Pacers moving forward, and this is a Pacers program for the rest of the NBA Finals. That's
fact. That's fact.
That's it.
And it's going 7, by the way, the NBA Finals. So we have until Game 7 to be a Pacers show.
Is that going to be written up by Barrett Sports Media? No. Is that going to be written up on awful announcing? I don't think so. But facts are facts. Naptown, Pacers, let's go. The big guy.
All in.
We are all in. And yeah, by the way, just as an aside, we, as long as they're going to have us, we're not going anywhere. I know that I was doing a little bit of a countdown last week. That's all good. So maybe that makes some of you happy. Maybe it disappoints some of you. But the big guy and myself, we continue here on Mad Dog Sports Radio in the second iteration for the foreseeable future, which we're excited to do. That's that.
Yeah, we're here.
Look at. Cat got his tongue.
Nope. Just not getting myself in trouble. Just not adding to it.
Dustin's in this. Just so people understand, Dustin's in this new era where he likes to say he has an agent. So he thinks he's got he's got a friend of his that he doesn't pay to talk to bosses. But his thing is, I got to do my negotiations. I got an agent. It's just our friend, and you don't even pay him. Will you relax?
No, that silence wasn't that. That silence, I could get myself into trouble right now if I say too much. That's all that was. I'm trying to become aware of the line that I continually cross and get emails about after the show.
I hear you, brother. So, show announcement, Pacers show. And by the way, let's go to the books and find out what we can bet as a Pacers show on the Pacers in the series right now.
So 4-1 to win the series, minus 525 in Oklahoma City, but I don't know what we're doing. This number's not going to be there tomorrow. In game 3, Oklahoma City's a 5.5-point road favorite. 228.5 is your total. I don't see any way Indiana doesn't cover the 5.5. The only question is, do they win the game outright, where you could get plus 180 on the money line?
Hey, just so you know, I got to give props to you. Dustin, during the break, told me go team total Yankees over 4.5. It's top of 1, and they're up 2-0 on the Royals.
Oh, you love to see it. I got a couple props in this one, too. I went team total, I went Volpe, and I went Aaron Judge over total bases. And I think Volpe just literally did what I said he would do. If that was Volpe, you hit that he'd stretch a single into a double, and we cashed over 1.5 total bases.
And you can check out the picks over at VSiN.com/picks. Not a great start for the Mets as the Nats lead 3-1, bottom 2. Maybe that World Series conversation I was having early was a little premature.
Well, I mean,
premature.
It's June 10th. Like one game's not the end of the world.
Big show announcement. Pacer show.
Can someone please tell me if you were nervous when he kept teasing that? Can someone please just tweet me?
No. Well, the only reason people would be nervous because bosses are just like, can we just chill? Can we just bring the temperature down a little bit around here? We don't need you buffoons making waves at night, and it comes September, even later at night. Am I right?
Yeah. We're like the Ronco rotisserie grill. Set it and forget it. That's what they want us to do, not make waves.
I was going to go to break, but I feel like we should clean it up a little bit. You want to say anything else?
We're like the Ronco rotisserie grill. I don't say rotisserie that often. Just set it and forget it. Don't make waves.
We'll get to your calls. VSiN Live Pacers show. Dustin Swedelson, Patrick Meagher, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Welcome back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Yeah, we got a big friendly tonight. The U.S. men's national team is back in action on Sirius XM FC tonight. Here, the USA take on Switzerland in their final test before the Gold Cup. Tune in for comprehensive pregame coverage featuring U.S. soccer legend Eric Winalda at 5 Eastern, followed by Westwood One's broadcast of the game at 8. It all kicks off tonight on Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the Sirius XM app. Dustin Swedelson, I'm Patrick Meagher. We got Samich at the top of the hour. Just one guest, so we're wide open. A big show announcement that this is now officially not the Thunder. This is a Pacers show. And we are, and I think there's a real chance the Pacers take game 3. So that 4-1 on the series price is going to drop big time. 5.5 feels steep, no? 5.5 with the Thunder laying it on the road? Come on.
No, at the very least, I think Indiana first half, but I think they have a chance to win the game. We're going to see a fired-up group. I think Rick Carlisle has proven over the course of time he's so good at making adjustments in these series. I think he's going to throw a few wrinkles at Oklahoma City that they haven't seen before. I think they're going to win game 3 outright. I think they're going to take it, and this series is going to get extra juicy.
Let's say hi to our buddy. Hey, that's our friend David in Maryland joining us here at VSiN Live. Hi, David.
Hey there, guys. I don't know if you listen to the commercials when you're on break, but I'm so excited that the timeshare cancellation guy got a new gig. He's got a cell phone to sell. That is just awesome.
I didn't hear that, but that is exciting news. That is. I would agree, David.
What a great country we live in. Hey, I am going to put it in writing everywhere I can to every follower I have on every medium that VSiN, Patrick and Dustin, is a Pacer show. Because I've been on the Pacers. I put a parlay together. I bet Pacers in 6, Panthers in 6. You can't pee on each other, but the 2 Ps are going to win in 6 because they're both going to win at home.
Dave, I don't know what the urination correlation is, but hey, you're on track with the Panthers. And we should also give props to the likes of our buddy Alan White Plains, our buddy Josh Applebaum, others that have come on the program and been supportive of the Indiana Pacers. Yes.
Yeah, we're a little late to the party. I flip-flopped a little bit on Oklahoma City, but I'm believing in Indiana right now. I think Tyrese Halliburton's got more tricks up his sleeve. Like here's the thing I was thinking about when we were talking about Stuart Skinner and net for the Oilers. Like the lack of confidence every time a shot was coming his way last night. I feel the opposite about Tyrese Halliburton in the fourth quarter every time he has the ball with a chance to do something special in a close game.
We need him to be a little more aggressive at home in game 3. I would think we all agree with that. Tyrese, you can get to the bucket. Just go. All right.
Score. Just score.
And that is coming off SGA. SGA has been Gilgeous-Alexander in game 2 was exquisite, and that is a virtuoso performance. But that's just what he is. It's weird. It's like he just doesn't register. But if you've ever heard the kid, he is so well thought. He is so well spoken, such a gentleman. But again, he just doesn't register. Like if you were to say popularity of NBA players right now, I don't even know if SGA is on the first page.
Well, no, his game and his personality match. Like it's effective. It's all right. It's on the up and up. It's everything that you want out of a superstar, but it's just not flashy. It's not in your face. There aren't highlight reels. He doesn't give you crazy quotes that you want to replay the next day on the show. He's just very normal and well-adjusted, and that's how his game is. His game is elite, but very simple and well-adjusted to today's NBA.
We needed to mix it up, and so it's become a Pacers show. It was a big announcement. Rob in Phoenix, our buddy. Hey, Rob.
God bless you guys. Hey, first of all, before you cut me off, I got to ask, how was the Hennessy's deal? Did you guys both go? I'm sorry. I've been offline.
We were unable to make it, but it was a successful event from what we understand, and from what we understand, that's Mike and the OC, Rob. But it was a success. Yes.
Okay, I'm proud of you both for not going. God bless you. I told that guy. I told you. I love Mike and the OC, but being from SoCal, I wouldn't have went either. Anyway, next point. You guys 3 weeks ago loved the Thunder. I went all in. I went money line. Them in 4 and 5 and 6. It's too late to change, boys. What's with the change of heart here?
Well, we had Rob. Good to hear from you. We had a big show announcement, and there's been a lot happening with Mad Dog Sports Radio recently. And I thought it was time to let you know that Dustin and I had a meeting with the higher ups and a Pacer show. I see from the notes of our next guest, Mike Samich, who intimidatingly so shaved his beard. And I got to be honest,
I don't like it.
I feel freaking weird.
I don't
like here's what I would say. Rob, don't worry. Samich is a very bright man, and he's with you on the Thunder. I would also say for both the ladies and the men, you might want to tune in at VSiN Live on YouTube for the next segment because the visual is going to be shocking. I've known Mike Samich for many years. I've never seen him without facial hair. I haven't taken a blade to my face. It's got to be 25 years. Right? When's the last time you did?
To go like straight, an actual razor blade to shave it completely down. You might be 15, 20 years. I might be on the same page as you. I'm trying to think. Last year I did. Last year I remember I had a goatee for a while, and John Goulet, who's here, told me I looked like a stepdad in a minivan.
Yeah, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that. And Samich, I don't know if he's impressing his wife. Father's Day coming up, but my man is cleanly shaven, and he joins us next year. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
OC, but I don't know how to do it.
Live betting reaction to all of the night's action. You're tuned in to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Hey, big guy, Samich was efforting to get his picks in at the picks page, and he was having issues accessing. Thank you.
Oh, they changed the passwords. Yeah,
there you go. It is VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, a respite because the NBA decided never to play basketball. So we're hanging out today. Mike Samich is going to join, part of the family. VSiN host, professional bettor, Ready, Set, Bet, weekends 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time at SamoBomb 18. There's a lot to do with Mike. In particular, give him props. Did a great job. I was fortunate enough. Aaron Halterman was boots on the ground in Saratoga, so VSiN at the track, the road to the Belmont Stakes. I jumped on with Mike on Saturday, and we had a hell of a time. We had so much fun doing the broadcast for both Mad Dog Sports Radio and VSiN, but we got really lucky because we had a hell of a race dropped in our lap. Were we robbed of a Triple Crown? It certainly appears so. Just so you know, Samo, we did effort for Bill Mott, and the first time in many years we did not hear back from him, which leads us to believe his kids took the phone away from Dad and said, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore, Dad. What are your thoughts?
Not shocked. I when we were on the air, I was like, I'd love to see if Bill Mott willing to do an interview after this one, just because of everything he said the week prior to the Belmont and how he just didn't feel like going to the Preakness. And then to win the Belmont in that style, that fashion, it's like, we sure you want to go in front of a microphone right now, Bill? Are we sure this is a good idea? So I'm not shocked that he had decided to turn you down on the request. And I'd love to know, just like, no microphone, no cameras, dark room with Bill, like, hey man, do you regret not going to the Preakness? Because you'd assume in the light of day, he's always going to say, no, I don't regret it, right? But I wonder if somewhere deep down inside of him, he kind of regrets not setting sovereignty to the Preakness now that we saw what he could do in the Belmont.
I am still majority in the camp that it wasn't all Mott. That's all I'm going to say. So I'll leave it there. But it did do something for the sport, and that is, I think it was Jeremy Plonk. He brought up a great point. Horse players and people that care about horse racing were pulling against sovereignty. It's not the animal's fault. It's not the horse's fault, but they were pulling against sovereignty because it could upend the concept of the Triple Crown moving forward because he had so much success. Where sovereignty, we can get to how he ran in the race because it was an epic performance, but just the concept of skipping the Preakness and it working out so well, hopefully that doesn't impact the future.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the back half of the year for sovereignty now, because the argument around skipping the Preakness is we don't want to use up the horse inside these 3 races in 5 weeks. We want to have a campaign in the latter half of the year. We want to be able to run in the Haskell, in the Travers. We want to be able to run in the Breeders' Cup Classic and not have anything taken away from the horse's ability because he ran 3 races in 5 weeks. And it's going to be a very interesting case study because I'd argue journalism, who I thought ran phenomenal in the Belmont, just got beat by a better horse, also has that opportunity to have that back half of the year season. And so now you have a specific example where one horse skips the Preakness and runs in the Travers and runs in the Classic. How does he do versus the horse that was in all 3 of these races? What's his back half of his season look like? And I know personally, as a fan of the sport, as someone who loves horse racing, I'll be pulling for journalism because I really don't want the precedent set that, hey, you can just skip the Preakness and then you're able to create this incredible path to the back half of the year as well. So it'd be nice to see a horse like journalism be able to go back and run in the big races and win some of those big races so that you're able to say, nope, you can still do this. You could have run Sovereignty to Preakness and it wouldn't have been an issue for the rest of the season.
Big guy, let me just one more follow-up, and that is on the race itself. So the speed figures are in. 109 Bear, that's epic. The visual of the race, we in real time we were gobsmacked because journalism coming around the final turn was shot out of a freaking cannon. And the speed figures are in for journalism. Journalism ran a hell of a race as well. Your take on Sovereignty's performance?
I mean, it was just phenomenal. You look back at how many horses have been able to go sub 201 at Saratoga, going 9 furlongs or 1.25 miles. Not many is the answer, right? We're talking about just a handful of horses who were able to accomplish the defeat that he did in the time that he did. And for him to do it early in his 3-year-old season, not when he's completely mature, not when there's still room to improve, just overarchingly says this is a phenomenal horse. And we talked about this on the VSiN at the track show. He went the final 2 furlongs, which are supposed to run in 12 seconds, not at the end of a 1.25 mile race. You're just supposed to try and run them in 12 seconds. He went the last 2 furlongs in sub 24 seconds, so less than 12 seconds a furlong. He was absolutely motoring at the end of that race. And when he crossed the finish line, you kind of felt like he could just go around again. I mean, just the stamina that he had and the ability he had, the fact that Alvarado didn't even really have to ask him to go by journalism. He just kind of did it himself after 1.25 miles is just incredibly impressive, Patrick. And it makes you really excited to see what we get in the future, but it's also a weird spot because you're like, hey, I hope he doesn't just roll, because then it's going to be, why don't we just do this every year? So it's a phenomenal horse. I cannot wait for specifically the Travers, which should be awesome in Saratoga. I think it's August 23rd this year. And then seeing this 3-year-old class take on the older horses as well when we move to the Breeders' Cup, because I think there are multiple horses in this class that can compete with the best horses in the world going 1.25 miles.
And Big Guy, Mike, I know I'm going to let you jump in, but Big Guy, I just say this. We know the 1.5 miles was not going to be an issue for Sovereignty. Sovereignty was just getting started when he crossed the finish line. So stamina, not an issue. Sorry, Dustin, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, the thing I keep coming back to, because obviously for the health of the sport, it's horrible if these groups are just going to start holding out their horses for the Preakness right in the middle of the Triple Crown run. But is there any element where, like, there is no ding for this for the ownership group? Like, I know when horses win a Triple Crown, they're, what is it, sires? Is that their children? Is that what they're called?
Correct. Yeah, they're sires.
Are worth more money. Does not winning one of the 3 legs, winning 2 of the 3 legs, isn't that enough to get what you're looking for as the ownership group of a horse?
So this is the problem, right? There's more money made off the track than on the track now for racehorses, and it wasn't always this case. But you make more money in the breeding shed now than you do on the racetrack with a very, very good horse, with a top-level horse. And we saw Justify win the Triple Crown. We saw American Pharoah win the Triple Crown. Their sire fee, the cost for it to breed your broodmare to those horses, was between $75,000 and $100,000 their first season, and we haven't really seen it elevate up, right? If you look at the fact, like, it's simply the fact that if you're a well-bred horse and then you win any of these grade 1 races, let alone a smorgasbord of them, which is what it looks like Sovereignty is going to be able to do, you don't need the Triple Crown. The Triple Crown isn't the end all in the breeding shed. Winning multiple grade 1s at different distances, that matters in the breeding shed. And then the fact that you're a well-bred horse, which Sovereignty very much is. So you have the lineage, and now you have the grade 1 victories. The Triple Crown maybe makes a $5,000 difference the first year, but then the second year, how your progeny did on the track is what's going to decide your price. And so there really is no bump. There's no bonus for winning all 3 Triple Crown races. There used to be a bonus if you'd won the Triple Crown, you get extra couple $1 million. That doesn't exist anymore. So there isn't any real motivation outside of, do you want to have a Triple Crown winner, which obviously the upper echelon of the sport, but that's the only motivation left out there for actually winning the Triple Crown.
You know what bewilders me, and I give Dog credit because he was talking on, and he's got the biggest audience in national sports talk radio, and he was talking about horse racing, but he was killing Mott. What bewilders me is it's not like it's a Safi or even a Cox, a younger trainer. This is Bill freaking Mott, 72 years old, has worked with horses for 60 years. No, you would assume nobody cares more about the Triple Crown. I mean, Sir Barton won it in 1919. Like, this is what the sport is built on. It just bums me out. I know I'm belaboring it. It bums me out.
It is a bummer. And this was the first time Bill Mott won the Kentucky Derby with a horse crossing the wire first. He'd never won that race before outside of Maxim Security getting DQ'd and Country House getting, we'll call it gifted, the victory there in the Kentucky Derby. This was the first time he had a Kentucky Derby winner cross the line first. And I do think it would have been interesting if it wasn't Godolphin, which is the ownership group for this horse, which is one of the biggest ownership groups in the world. They do their own breeding. This was a homebred for Godolphin. So Son of Insta Mischief out of Bernardini filly, 2 very, very good American horses. I wonder if this was a different ownership group, if the option would have been different for Mott, because my assumption is Godolphin kind of said, no, we're good. We don't need to rush through it. We're going to use this horse as a sire for us in the future anyway. So this isn't a horse that we're worried about going down that path. So I would be surprised if it was 100% Bill Mott's decision, Patrick. I think this was more Godolphin, who, is the ownership group, and the owner of the horse are the ones that really have the power to make that decision.
Yeah, and if I'm Bill Mott and I want to keep getting these great horses that they purchase, I'm going to do what they say. I'm going to play by their rules. He's got his legacy here right at the tail end of his career. He can keep winning these big races if he's on the right side with them. I heard you guys on VSiN at the track on Saturday. You were discussing the Travers, and that the Travers is actually a race that the horsemen would rather win than any of the Triple Crown. They'd rather win a Travers than a Kentucky Derby. That's more for the hype for everyone on the outside looking in when it comes to those big races. Is there any chance the drama with Sovereignty and with journalism maybe getting another shot where maybe that could change this year and the Travers could be an event with more eyeballs than usual, Mike?
Well, I would say it's Kentucky Derby then Travers. If people are being honest, they'd like to win the Kentucky Derby, but the next one on the list would be the Travers. The Belmont's probably second or third. The Travers I would say is second. The Belmont third amongst the 3-year-old stakes races that we run in this country. I think we're going to see Sovereignty and journalism in the Travers, and I think that race is going to have a ton of juice to anyone who likes horse racing. Now, the question is, can that transcend it into public opinion? Are people going to care on August 23rd if Sovereignty and journalism run against each other again? I'm not sure what the answer is. I think they will. I mean, I know I will. I'll be tuned in. I'll be dialed in for it. But I'll be interested to see, now that we have a rivalry building up between these two, if the interest is there. And then let's say that journalism beats Sovereignty and they both face off again in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Is that going to be a big spike in interest as well? Is that going to help grow the sport? I've been saying for a while, you need rivalries. You need names that consistently show up on these big days. That's what will drive people to it, not this one-off Triple Crown winner that never runs again or runs again 3 times and then retires. Both of these horses are supposed to be running into their 4-year-old seasons. If that happens and we get the rivalry moving forward, this could be a very good thing for horse racing.
Mike Somich joining us here, VSiN Live, part of the family, of course, professional bettor, VSiN host. Samo, so Dustin and I were talking about Game 3 last night in Florida, Stanley Cup Final. I had a little bit of a weird take on pulling Skinner. I actually think it shows weakness. Leave him in there, make a decision for Game 4. But just pulling him, I get the idea of not wanting to ding a goalie's confidence, but he gave up some cheapies. In fact, you had the line of the night. That breakaway from Bennett, you said it was an empty netter. I mean, it was unbelievable. I just, you're getting beat. Show some confidence. Don't act like you're shook. And I know it's tradition to pull a goalie in that spot. I leave him in there and then make the decision after Game 3.
Yeah, I was surprised they pulled him at that point. To me, it's like, okay, what are we doing? Like, why don't you just leave him out there, let this happen, and then decide based on his mentality and what you expect going forward, whether or not we're going to leave him in this series. And I think that is where the real question mark becomes here is what is going to happen when we go play Game 4? I mean, we had a situation earlier in this where Skinner loses Game 1 and Game 2 in Los Angeles. All of a sudden, you hear that, okay, well, we're gonna have Picard start Game 3. He was phenomenal. And he played very, very well to get them back in that series, but he gets injured. And so Skinner gets inserted right back into the net, and he played well since then. But Knobloch has that belief that Picard can get them over the hump too, because he was willing to make the move earlier in the playoffs. And now after Game 3, you have Knobloch come out. He's talking about, I don't know. We'll see who's going to start for Game 4. He's undecided on that decision. And like that to me is the other issue here. If you're going to pull him, and you don't give him the vote of confidence right after the game. No, he's our starter. He's our guy. We're going back to him. Sure feels like it might be time to move to Picard and just make that flip.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I'm a little bit nervous, Mike, because Patrick and I were both on Edmonton. It was one of those deals where we spoke in the morning and he said he loved them. I was like, great, because I already bet it. That's the side I'm on. It felt right. Plus price where I believe these teams are even. And even after last night, I still believe these teams are even. I'm looking at the Game 4 line, and it's about the same as yesterday. Plus $1.24 on the Oilers, minus 148 with Florida, total 6.5. I want to go back to Edmonton, but there was an element last night where I think the body language was really bad. Would you go and take the plus price with the Oilers, or would you lay it with Florida tomorrow?
Well, if I'm betting Edmonton, I'm taking the plus money, obviously. If I'm betting Florida, I'm laying the goal and a half. I have no interest in taking Florida to minus this number. I just rather would play into the chaos. And the thing that stood out for Game 3 to me was the lack of the lack of mental toughness from the Oilers. They let Florida get in their heads. They played Florida's game from the middle of the first period on, basically, where it was, okay, we're willing to get in these chippy battles after the whistle. We're willing to not use our speed in the same way we had in the past games. We're willing to play or to take these penalties that we could not take before and give you all of these power plays, which, by the way, means that you don't have as much flow to the game, which benefits Florida. They want to have more of a choppy game, more whistles, more stoppages. They don't want to go up and down with this Edmonton team. And I'm mentally worried about the Oilers more than I am the ability to compete physically on the ice. I think they have the guns to be able to stay with Florida in a series. I'm not sure they can let themselves delve back into this position again. I don't think you're going to see nearly as undisciplined a play as you did in the third period when the Edmonton was just taking every penalty under the sun. You see that a lot in playoff games that get out of hand. But you do kind of wonder, like, hey, guys, we can't lose our cool. We can't let Sam Bennett, we can't let Brad Marchand, we can't let Tkachuk get in our head and then us be the ones taking these penalties. We have to figure out how to play with discipline while still not playing weak. And that's something that Edmonton hasn't figured out in 10 games against Florida now in the last 2 years.
It's funny you brought up Marchand because he's a legendary Bruin, but nobody feels more like a Panther in current day than Marchand because like Dustin mentioned that the Oilers were fighting the Panthers. I'm like, the one team in the NHL you don't want to fight is the Panthers. Like that's their whole vibe. But Marchand has been impeccably.
This is this sounds bad. Florida is the dirtiest team in the NHL. A lot of times you'll hear people say they're gritty. They're just going to take and they're not trying to hurt you, but every chance that they have that you're skating to your bench after the whistle, they're going to skate their shoulder into your shoulder. They're going to give you an elbow into the ribs. They're just going to remind you that they're always there. And it's how you react to that becomes a big issue. And, we see Sam Bennett getting in whatever goalie's in the net's face consistently. He's always right around the crease. He doesn't mind making contact with the goalie. And you're seeing the retaliatory stuff now from the defensemen, from those forwards skating off the ice. That's what Edmonton has to get past. They have to get into a game where they're able to play with speed through the neutral zone and back up the Florida defense if they want to have success. And they played Florida's game in Game 3. And if that happens, they're going to lose. It's just that simple. They have to play Oilers hockey. They played Oiler hockey in Game 1 and were able to get the win. And I thought outplayed Florida pretty handily. Game 2, it was back and forth. Game 3, that was 50 plus minutes of Panthers hockey, and that's the result.
Yep. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Bennett because he catapulted up the Conn Smythe Award odds yesterday, and rightfully so. 4 goals now. Do you have a ticket on him? Is that why you're smiling like that? Do you have a ticket on Sam Bennett?
I gave out Bennett on the show last week, 30-1.
I don't remember things that happened yesterday. It all goes in and out my brain.
But you'd be mad at me if I didn't remember what dude you both got the Cy Young ticket on last Tuesday, though.
Yeah, no, but the difference between me and you is I would have reminded you over and over again that I had the ticket. You just sat there.
That's true.
Didn't say anything. All right, he's now the favorite. My question is, and this is probably good for you as a ticket holder, are you concerned that someone else with Florida being so deep, having so many scoring options, could muddy the votes, and a guy like Bobrovsky could end up winning it because it's a full playoff award, not just for the Cup final?
Well, one of the reasons we talked about betting Bennett to win the award is that he was leading the NHL playoffs in goals coming into this series with 10. And then the second highest scorer entering this series was Draisaitl with 7. He's got 14 now. He is dominating from a goal scored in the playoffs perspective. So it's not just the Stanley Cup Finals where he's been putting the puck in the net. It's the entire breadth of work here that I think has been impressive. What I love about last night is he scores 1 goal, but because he was so chippy, because he was so involved in all of these after the whistle stuff, you keep hearing people say his name. That is great for a voting award. The fact that he's the one running into the goalie, the fact that he's the one they're cross-checking, that's what you want because you feel the impact even without him scoring a goal. Look, I think this award market is really interesting. I don't think Bobrovsky can win because I don't think we're just like, I don't think this is Panthers in 5. I think the Oilers are going to make this a series. I would, regardless of what happens here in Game 4, I think the Oilers win Game 5. If the Panthers win Game 4, I think the Oilers win Game 5, make it 3-2. So I do think that this is a little bit longer series. That means Bobrovsky most likely gives up a couple more goals. As this is again, all 3 games have gone over. I'll be betting over 6.5 in Game 5. I still think this is an over series. That makes it harder for a goalie to be able to win the award. And it also makes it easier for Bennett to be able to win the award if he is able to continue scoring. If you missed the Conn Smythe number, I love a prop right now. If you're over on DraftKings, they've got series props, and one of those props is shots on goal per game. So will a player get one or more shot on goal per game? Will they get 2 or more shots on goal per game? Well, in the 2 or more shots in goal market, Sam Bennett's listed as plus 100. So which means he has to take at least 2 shots in every Stanley Cup final game played. He's Florida's leading shot getter. The fact that he's scoring is going to make him even more aggressively pull the trigger when he's shooting. He is a power play shot getter. He's a regular or even strength shot getter. I love him over 2 shots in every game of the series at plus 100.
There you have it. Bennett and Samich here on VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. I'm watching the United States and Switzerland in a friendly soccer style. Switzerland scored in the 14th minute, so 1-0. It is a absolute mess with the U.S. men's national team right now, which I'm not happy about. And they got a good coach.
What happened? Weren't we supposed to be good now? Like I thought
there's
this
drama with Pulisic. There's so much drama around this team. I'm so tired of this generation. I really am. Pulisic can be Landon Donovan. He could be the greatest United States soccer player of all time. There's just drama constantly. Whether it's Reyna or Pulisic or whomever, I can't stand it anymore. I'm tired of this team.
Is there anything in sports that we've been lied to about longer than this? This is the time the U.S. men's national team raises the bar and meets international competition. I feel like since we were kids, it was like, yeah, we're getting there. American soccer's on the rise. It's going to blow up. We're going to become legitimate. And I'm 40. I'm a man, and we're still having the same conversation.
Since the World Cup was here in 90, I think it was 96, 92 or 96, one of the two. Ever since then, we were supposed to just like take this jump. And the generation that comes from that was going to make us elite at soccer. I'm with you, Dustin. I'm still looking around. I'm still waiting. We're not even close. That's the thing, too. It's not even like we've moved up a couple pegs and like, oh, no, we're definitely a top 8 team in the world. We're definitely not a top 18 in the world. And we're here with another World Cup coming up in a couple of years.
Who knew I was joined by Ronaldo and Messi all of a sudden talking soccer? You too. But I'm not. But I agree with everything you both just said.
Says the only guy who bets the MLS night in and night out.
Hey, I'm a real one. The basketball. Well, first off, we can all agree the scheduling stinks. You put a game on Tuesday, you put a game on Thursday, you avoid Friday. Whatever. No momentum going into tomorrow. It's ridiculous. But the series itself, we had a bit of a show announcement, having some fun. Look, we've been all over Oklahoma City, but Indiana got exactly what they wanted. That Sunday performance, you can toss it. They wanted to come home 1-1. That is a 10.5-point favorite in game 1 for the Thunder, 11 in game 2. So the fact that it's going to be crazy tomorrow night in Indianapolis for game 3.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts. I can't wait to see what that environment's going to be like. And then I can't wait to see all the tears they're going to cry as Oklahoma City blows them out again. The game 1 wasn't close. I don't know why everyone it was a run at the end that was, in my mind, an anomaly. It was not a close game. OKC dominated the majority of that basketball game. They dominated the last game in totality. If you look at the defense they're able to play, what they're doing against the double high screen from the Pacers, what they're doing when it does go to Siakam and he's trying to take over, there are no answers on this Pacers team. They are searching for them. You can see by the rotations they had, but there aren't any real answers. And yeah, they're happy coming home 1-1. They should be 5.5-point dogs in these two road games. I'll give me OKC tomorrow. Give me OKC game 4. Give me OKC to win this to -1.5 games, -150. Love that one. They're gonna win 2 or 3 in Indianapolis, and they're going to win at home in game 5. So I'll give me the -150 and OKC -1.5. Like I think this is. I think people are a little too excited by what a 4-minute stretch of one game that made the Pacers look like they could compete with the Thunder.
Hater.
Wow.
He's a Bill hater.
It was, or Josh Hader. Sorry, I one-upped you there. But it was the 4 most important minutes of that game, Mike. It's the reason why they won.
This is what they do. It's not an anomaly. They've been doing it consistently.
Okay, you can take the 1 in 270 times something happens, even if the same team does it twice or 2-3 times in the playoffs, which they have now done.
Well, they did it four times now.
That's fine. Cool. That's fine. Do it 3 more and you might win the title. Like that's the ridiculous part. Okay, okay. Well, what do you think the chances are Indy wins a game by 10 in the entire series?
Not great.
Crickets, right? They're not blowing them out.
The great philosopher Dominic Toretto once said, "It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile." So
It does,
winning's
though.
winning.
It does, because if they have a game where they can win by 10, they get to take a break. They don't have to come back down 15 in the final 5 minutes to win a game. If their only path to victory is to figure out how to make it 10 or less with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter so they can have a miraculous comeback, they're hosed, man. They're hosed. They're like, I don't understand why everyone loves the Pacers off these two games. I'm not sure what they watch. The OKC is going to win in 5 or 6, and we can all move along with our day. Watch the Stanley Cup Finals. Don't worry about the NBA Finals. And oh, by the way, to the NHL and to the NBA, how is there not a game on Father's Day? Father's Day is on Sunday, and there is no NHL or NBA Finals game on Sunday. What are we doing?
I'm glad you brought this up.
Disaster.
Speaking of having a family, like I'm not sure what your facial hair situation was when Lily was younger, but did you ever like have a beard, shave a beard, and then she not recognize you when she was a baby?
Hold on. Before you answer the beard question, I just want to reiterate. You nailed it. They could have played Tuesday, Thursday, and then taken the break to give us a game on Sunday.
Yep.
That was the path for momentum in this series. Dads want to chill, leave me alone. Now, maybe they don't want to compete against the U.S. Open final round. I understand. But you're not going to – the lowest rated game in the history of the NBA finals is going to be Friday night in Indianapolis. Nobody's going to be watching on a Friday freaking night, Thunder, Indy. Enough said. Samich, Dustin asked you.
Yeah, okay, so I was not planning on getting rid of the beard. I wasn't.
Been there.
I am not a beard savant. I'm someone who have only brought facial hair into my life here in the last 2 or 3 years and only really grew it out as long as it was over the weekend, like once before. And I've never gone to a barber to get lined up. Dustin knows what that means. I still don't really know what it means. So I was doing a little grooming yesterday, and we got a little tight in a couple spots. And
I've been there, man. I've
Rookie.
been there.
And it just snowballed. If we're being honest, it just snowballed, and we ended up with this. Okay, so
It's a weird game. It's a weird game. You start shaving, you're like, all right, it looks good. Let me just do a little bit more. And then you step back, you go, oh no, I don't know what I'm doing.
I went too low on this side of the face.
Yeah.
So then I was like, no, it's cool. I'll just figure out how to like frame it out so that both sides are the same. And then it looked like I don't know. It just looked like I had mutton chops. It was just very weird, man. And so I'm just like, the nice part about facial hair for most of us, it grows back pretty quickly. So I'll have like the 5 o'clock shadow by tomorrow. I'll have a little something by the weekend. And, it might take like months to get back to where I was, but at least we'll have something going here by next week's show.
Now, it does appear, and we've all been there, you botched it, but it does appear you then went back to the draw and said, where's the Bic? And went straight down to the skin. That's skin on skin, correct?
It is, yeah. Well, I used the electrical one I usually use, but yeah, this is all. It's all gone. There's nothing there. This is just growing back.
It's shocking. How did your wife and daughter react?
My daughter was like, "Oh, where'd your face is bald?" was what she told me when I picked her up from school. Like, well, better the face than the hair, right? We'll take the win. The wife was just kind of like, interesting.
Yeah, she wants a man. She wants a man who came out of the bathroom a boy.
She's taught. She likes the facial hair. She is not happy. It's all down, right? But it's fine. Like I said, it'll be fine. It grows back.
I don't know if I've had
Tuesday.
zero. I don't know if I've had zero facial hair, like nothing at all, legitimately since like 2004, 2005.
Yeah, we asked you before. We got it.
Yeah, I was planning on going like using the attachment that just shaves it off, so like it leaves like a 3 or it leaves like the stubble type thing. And I put the wrong attachment on, which was just the extra comedy of errors, and all of a sudden it's just all gone.
The big guy, your beard is your identity. There's no way you're ever gonna shave down.
No, well, there's just no matter what my weight is, there's just too much face. I've got to cover up all. There's just a lot. It's a big head. It's a big face. It's a lot of surface area. The beard can be manipulated in ways to make it seem a little bit more aerodynamic than it actually is.
I hear you. Now, you actually get your beard shaved by another human.
Yes. Yeah, I have a new barber right now.
Dude, you're a wild one.
I not every day, but when I go get a haircut, I have him fix the beard. I have a new barber. I've gone to him 2 times now, and he did admit to me the last time I went to him, he's like, "Yeah, remember COVID?" I was like, "Yeah, well, what about it?" He's like, "I didn't experience much of it." I was like, "Oh, why? Did you go out of the country or something?" He's like, "No, man, I was locked up." I was like, "Oh, cool.
Oh, okay. So
9 months in jail."
Okay.
Now I'm scared not to go to him. He has all my information.
And I think this was sharp money time, but we do remember the experiment run by the big guy where one day he showed up and it was just somebody took shoe black to his face and Dustin had dyed his beard even darker. That was a weird turn of events.
Yeah, but the beard did look good. I'm not going to lie. It looked good. It definitely looked obvious. Like I looked exactly the way DJ Khaled looks in the box that he's on in the pharmacy, where you could tell he took a Sharpie to his head and his beard. It didn't look natural, didn't look real, but I thought it looked sweet.
Okay. All right. Well, Samich, RIP to what I thought was a tremendous looking beard over the weekend.
It was.
And I think I'll be seeing Samich this weekend, and all I can hope is that thing starts to come back because I'm going to be shook in person.
You don't like the baby face? You
look young.
Thing. Come on.
That's it. That's it. You look super young.
It does cut like 5 years off what my age looks like when I don't have a beard and when I do.
Yep. I'm going to be blasting What's My Age again when I pull up to Santa Barbara. Hey, you want to leave us with some baseball props?
Yeah. The Rockies are back at home. I wrote this article like a month ago, and then they didn't play at home for like 3 weeks, so it was not all that valuable. But they are back at home. They are still giving up RBIs to the 2, 3, 4, and 5 hitters tonight. If you look up the Rockies lineup, we have got Ramos in the 3-hole. Flores in the 4 spot. You can get Ramos at -110, Flores at +110 to get RBIs against the Rockies tonight. So I played both Ramos and Flores -110 and +110 to have at least 1 RBI. And then I took a little Ohtani RBI as well. He has absolutely hammered Dylan Cease when he's gotten the opportunities. He's +130 to record an RBI. Don't love that he is leading off. That's why we're getting the +130 price, but did take a little bit of a flyer with Ohtani RBI. So we're Ohtani over half RBI +130, Ramos over half RBI -110, and Flores over a half RBI +110. Both the latter are the 3 and 4 hitters for the Giants.
We call it family, and Steve Torrey was the one that dubbed it, and we've used it consistently now. Speaking of family, last night I was watching Cashing Out on VSiN. Were you?
No, I was not. I was not watching Cashing Out.
Dustin Swedelson was hosting, so
I knew why. I actually we hung out. Dustin and I did. We watched the first quarter. We watched the first quarter of the OKC game, and during that time, he actually complimented me on taking some McDavid to win the Conn Smythe because I had a Bennett ticket. So the fact that he doesn't remember 2 days later I have a Bennett ticket, just bringing that up again. But yeah, so I did know he was hosting.
To my defense, I hadn't paid that close attention to all the names of the players in the Panthers until I had to do the solo show.
Here's the thing about the big guy. If he's complimenting you on a bet, it's so he can bring his bets into it. And there is also look at how he gets so bitter.
We did talk about Cy Young right after.
Yeah, exactly. There is I just know him like the back of my hand. And there is no chance during that sit down on I believe it was Saturday that you two hung out.
Sunday
that he neglected to mention his schedule on Monday and that he would be solo hosting. Am I right?
Twice a week. Catch Dustin Swedelson on Cashing Out over on VSiN.
Because I had to leave because I had a ton of work to do. Like, come on.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. We've dubbed the Cashing Out crew the big 3. Wade, Bosch, LeBron, Swedelson, Peterson, Seidenberger.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. I say Swedelson is the LeBron.
It sounds like a law firm that won't win your case.
Yeah.
I think Swedelson is the LeBron. All right, we'll go scare your family with the look. Ready, Set, Bet, weekends 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. SamoBomb18 on Twitter. Where, by the way, Racing Dudes, great weekend. Belmont, you should check them out as well. RacingDudes.com. Mike Samich, nice to talk to you. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate it, guys. I might have to go blonde next week just to keep you guys changing it up.
Yeah, little Eminem never hurt anybody, just like me. There goes Mike Somich. And by the way, not happy. Switzerland has added a goal, up 2-0 on the United States. This is a freaking disaster. Disaster.
Could be waiting forever for this men's national team to be relevant. I'm sorry. They're toying with us every year.
We can all admit, as if you're listening and you're a man, you have had the situation Somich just ran into, where you're shaving, you completely mess everything up. You think you can even it out, and then you just got to go strip it.
Yeah, the thing I struggle with is I just don't think my face is symmetrical. I just don't think, I think everything's uneven, and the natural way to cut it is uneven. And then I look at it, I go, well, I'll bring this down. I go, wait, I brought it down too far, and I got to bring this down. And then you realize you can't bring anything up. You can only go down, and then you're screwed. You've come too far, and you have to do what Somich did, which is shave it all off.
I hear you. Here's a breakaway for Switzerland, and almost got another goal. Not great.
We have 2 on, 2 out in the fourth with the Yankees. We could use one of these runs here.
We need a couple of runs. We're going to come back with your calls, 888-623-3646, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
I couldn't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I couldn't before. Now I can.
I want to give you props. John Goulet over at the SiriusXM Studios win. He was on the Overteam Total Yankees 4.5, as was your boy. And a little rocking chair top of 4. Grisham with the 3-run bomb. 5-1 Yankees over the Royals. Tremendous job by the large one.
Hey, we did it last night on Cashing Out. We also got Anthony Volpe over 1.5 total bases. That got home. So we're just waiting on Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt gets an extra base hit. We're sitting pretty on a 3-0 night on just that game.
I hear you. And if you keep hitting the bets, you'll get more shows on Cashing Out. No, just go do an entertaining show, and you'll keep doing it. That's your
hitting
lesson.
the bets allows me to go on Twitter and do a victory lap on the nights where I do really well. But you don't hear from me on the nights that I get my ass kicked. But the nights I do well, you're going to hear about every single bet that won and how awesome I am at handicapping games.
That's true. Then that's how Twitter's supposed to be used. I don't blame you for that. Our buddy Tony in Detroit joins us here at VSiN Live. Tone.
Hey, I got a good one for you, gentlemen. A little torque bomb plus 510 with a boost. It is Type 1 Tigers torque wet yard, so a little change in the pocket.
How about Torkelson? He looked like he was going to be the biggest dud of all time, and he's turning into something here.
We're up 5-1 in the 8th. They're in that little bandbox in Baltimore for the next. Get a couple
Tony,
more. Maybe we'll get.
Hold on, I'm going to put you on hold. You've got a bad connection. Let's see if I'll come back to you. We'll say hi. Hold on. Yep, let me put you on hold. Let's say hi to Twiz in Los Angeles. Twizzy, what's up?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling this day?
What's happening, Twiz? How are you?
Oh, man, I'm hanging in there like a hubcap in the fast lane. Look, man, one, man, my hello?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, man, it was weird noises going on there.
I know.
Man,
I heard it too.
Beard.
We're good.
I grow the sweetest beard, man. So when you're talking beards, that's right up my alley. Look, I had two things, man. One, the SGA foul merchant thing. I hate that so much, because I really feel like he's trying to score when he's getting fouled. He's not like Harden where the goal is to just get fouled. So I really hate that for him. But I need you to clear up something for me because I just cannot understand for the life of me, why is Chet Holmgren so up and down? It seems like he has a mismatch against pretty much everybody he plays. Why is it the scheme? I mean, is it just not aggressive? What is it about Chet Holmgren that for some reason he should be averaging 17 in his sleep without even trying? Why is he so up and down? It's so frustrating when I watch him.
Go ahead, big guy.
I don't get it either, Twiz, because he misses open looks. So there's some nights where he's money, especially that like runner, that floater in the lane where he's tremendous and it looks like it can't be defended. And then other nights, he just literally is missing wide open threes. He's a really confusing player. I just think maybe he's not as seasoned as some of the other guys. Remember, he missed a year with the injury. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. But when he's on, he's awesome. It's just like the rest of the Thunder. Jalen Williams, up and down. When he's on, he's awesome, but there's also a lot of big games where he disappears.
Well, I don't think Jalen Williams has the talent, and or like is the mismatch that Holmgren is. It's like some nights I feel like his ceiling could be somewhat like Wemby, and his other nights he's just like Miles Turner. I don't get it, and he's so frustrating when it comes to prop betting.
No, he's frustrating because, especially against Minnesota, he's so freaking good. Now, really from Holmgren, what they want is the defense. Unlike Turner, Holmgren is an A-plus defender. But if he can give you the offense, which is erratic, he turns into a great player just as opposed to a good player. I totally agree.
Yeah, man, and I'm so against you guys as far as the Indiana pick, man. I was on them with the Knicks 100%. But the one thing that I noticed is that these guys can keep up offensively where the Knicks couldn't, but they can't. Indiana cannot keep up defensively. When it's time to get down to the nitty gritty and dig in on the defensive end, they don't have enough guys that can do that, you know, and get gritty. And Halliburton is not that gritty kind of player, you know, that I think SGA is actually. SGA, he doesn't get credit for his grit. But I love you guys. You know, I'm always listening. And man, let's hope this is not like show 18 and we're on countdown. Let's just hope we're not.
No, I got you, Twiz. Yeah, well, big show announcement. The Pacers switch up has got people in their feels, including, I think we got them back, including Tony, not happy with the two of us with the Pacers switch up. Is that true?
That is very true. Apologize for the signal. But real quick, happy anniversary to you guys. You've been 9 years, Dustin. Hey, I'm a long enough listener. Didn't Dustin tell you to call him Sweet?
Oh, yeah. The first,
okay,
I'm glad you reminded me. First time I met him, I said, "Hi, Dustin, pleasure to meet you." He said, "You can call me Swede." I had never disliked a human more than that exact moment. Like, what are you even talking about, you freak? What, sweet? You're telling me your nickname? Get the hell out of here, Tony.
And I'll tell you something I always remember from back in the day. I was first listening to you, and you said a few times, "Look up." You kept saying, "Look up." And I called you, and I said, "Are you from Detroit?" Because of that Piston Isaiah Thomas
Look
commercial. And you were saying that one night. I go, "This damn guy's got to be from Detroit." But that's
Isaiah with the wires. What do they call electrical wires? Telling kids in a PSA, "Look up." That was the best.
Hey, Detroit Edison commercial standing under wires. Look up. But hey, listen, man. Listen, another thing. We say back in the day, don't fall for the okey doke. Patrick, what are you doing with the Pacers? Are you out of your mind? They've led for 0.3 seconds. We talked yesterday. They've been down 15 in 9 games. Down 15. Yeah, I know they've won 5 of those. But come on, it doesn't bode well. They're not. They might win a game. I took OKC in 6. I didn't expect them to lose one of them damn home games, but they did slip up a little. But Patrick, don't fall for that. You've been on them. How are you slipping off them, brother? Come on now.
Listen. Big show announcement. Pacers show. Bringing a little juice. You think John Cougar Mellencamp's a Pacers fan? Not like Meagher and Swedelson, or should I say Swede?
Look, you can't control how you feel. It's just a feeling. And the feeling is that Indiana believes. They have a little bit of hope, and they're sitting in the perfect position that they wanted to be in. And on the Swede thing, some people would say that you actually hurt my brand. I was ahead of the curve. I had a brand. My name was Swede, not Dustin. And you denied it and forced me to create a whole new brand, which is the big guy.
Which is the only thing people text me by, so it was a stroke of genius on my part. Thank you. You even got in the chat, you even got Ryan Smith, who, LOL, when I brought up the Swede thing. Here's the thing. I need people to understand something. To this day, Dustin still doesn't understand why it's weird.
No, I understand why you think it's weird. You think as a human, I told you to call me Sweet. I was saying in terms of radio. I did radio in a bunch of different places. I had made it my thing. I just wanted to be called Sweet. And every other person I ever worked with in multiple markets, in multiple stations across the United States of America called me Sweet, except for you.
Right, but I'm not.
But you.
But I'm not every other person. Nor is she. And all those other people. What are they up to? Just basic. So let's be clear.
But they did what I wanted. That's the difference.
Correct. I don't like being told what to do, and I don't like grown men telling me their nickname. And by the way, that was presumptuous on your part. You were coming in at that point as nothing but the producer, so why the hell would I be calling you anything on the air anyway?
I just want to correct you. I was not a grown man. I was 30, and Mike Gundy says you're not a man until you're 40.
Okay. Well, you can call me Sweet. Was that before or after you laid out the 10,000 rule? I don't respect people.
No, that. See, you twist my words around to make me look worse than I am.
Are you being serious? You didn't tell me that.
People in the media space on Twitter. It's not that I respect them. It's that I think they're legitimate with 10,000. Anyone under 10,000, not legitimate.
It was an interesting first week. Self-gloss of a nickname, and then also, I don't really think people are cool until they have over 10,000 followers on Twitter. At that point, I realized a mistake was made. VSiN Live. It's Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Welcome back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
You're going to hear from Aaron Rodgers at the top of the hour, introduced as the Nets' Pittsburgh Steeler quarterback with in typical Rodgers fashion, which you'll hear. Dustin Swedelson, Patrick Meagher. This is VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. And this
Happy anniversary.
This is your buddy
sorry.
Mike in the OC. What's up?
I got all this stuff is great. Hearing everybody call it with Twiz and Tony and talking about Dustin when he's sweet. How about the tape he brought? What's that? Dustin, did you have some audition tape that was online for a while from Valvest, whatever the hell that was?
It was just my. It was like a demo reel that
right?
I had. Yeah, it was my demo reel when I did sideline reporting. Yeah,
But you love that reel.
Oh, I loved it. All capital LOVE. Love, Mike. You're right.
Oh.
Well, if you guys have 9 years together, what have we been together? 7? I don't know what the hell it is. Next
longer.
Month's 6th anniversary of you know what? Yeah.
It's been a good run. What is the anniversary? I'm sorry, I missed that.
By the way, I thought the big announcement, I'm waiting on pins and needles. I'm telling people, oh my God, this is going to be a huge announcement. It's going to be your new hours, how you're going to work your way around SAS, Stephen A. And then I get this. Patrick, I was waiting for that. You're funny. Too much.
Yeah, you like that one,
I thought that was Dustin. Yeah, there you go. I thought that was Dustin's shtick, honestly, but I was wrong. Hey,
I wish it was mine. It was great.
It wasn't bad. What
Did you guys see the catch last night at the Big A? Denzel, what's his name? Denzel. Did you see that catch at Angel Stadium?
The athletic guy in left?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, it was incredible.
He climbed the wall. I mean, not climbed. He was almost on top of the wall of the fence. It was actually one of the best I've seen there. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. Then he made
Were you at the game
later? No, I didn't go. I was watching it. I didn't go to the game. What am I doing?
Pay money to watch the Angels in athletics?
No,
they should pay you to go to the game.
I went to the Yankee. I'm not going to go. You have to run down to the A's, Angels. I went to the Yankee one a few weeks ago. I mean, come on.
Did you talk to Steve? Did you talk to Steve Torrey today?
I did not talk to Steve Torrey. Are we okay? Is it good?
I don't know.
I mean, are you still being mean to him?
Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. How was he doing after all this? Have you talked to him?
Well, I mean, I think you guys put a lot on Steve. I don't think it was fair. I don't think people were being nice to Steve.
It probably was not. He got railed. I know, because Twitter and people are blaming Steve and this and that. We love you, Steve.
Torrey was taking one. When we come back, Steve's not dramatic. Aaron Rodgers is, and you'll hear from him. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Remember, you can sign up for the daily newsletter. It's easy. It's free. There's no obligation. Go to vsin.com/newsletter. Again, you're going to wake up tomorrow morning. It's going to be right there in your inbox. What do you need to know that day as far as sports and betting and free picks and everything in there? vsin.com/newsletter. All you have to do is enter your email address. I encourage you to do so. There's two teams, Dustin Swedelson on Patrick Meagher, hour 3 of the program. There's two teams. I'll tell you that maybe you have a counter. The two buzziest teams in the offseason. Now, it's just OTAs. We're not even – then we'll get a break, and then you'll have training camp. But the two buzziest teams, and you can give me two if you think differently, the Washington Commanders and the Denver Broncos. Buzzy teams right now. Buzzy.
Like there's some hype coming
legit
behind them.
People believe Super Bowl contenders.
I'll throw one more in the mix, and you and I have talked to them about them a bunch. The Chicago Bears would be next.
Buzzy.
There's buzz. I have a thing about the Broncos. I still don't buy Bo Nix. I know it feels like I'm hanging on to like the evaluation in the draft. I still watched him throw a football, and it's not pretty. But I'll give him credit. It works. It wins games. It gets it done. I understand the Sean Payton thing. Maybe I was a little too hard on him last year, thinking he didn't have a lot left up his sleeve. Apparently, he still is an offensive mastermind. I just don't buy Bo Nix after the league adjusts to what he does as a player. I just don't buy him being anything special. I can't see. It just doesn't look optically appealing.
I got you. Elsewhere, also Anthony Richardson. There seems to be big injury concerns about the Colts quarterback, so that's going to be Daniel Jones as your starter for the Colts.
Well, is it a good sign if you have an open quarterback competition and you just invited Desmond Ridder in to work out with your team? That's usually not a great sign for your quarterback situation in the NFL.
Not ideal. And we're going to move on to Aaron Rodgers here. And Myles Garrett had some fun words for the division rival where he was asked about Aaron Rodgers' 41 signing with the Steelers. And playfully, he said, I can't wait to put him in the graveyard.
Okay.
Myles Garrett.
And I think there's a chance that happens because did you see the videos that were being tweeted out from Steelers camp today?
I did not.
I had to double check the ones of Aaron Rodgers doing footwork drills. I wasn't sure if they were in real speed or if they were in slow motion. That's how slow he was moving. Like he was laboring, and I legit thought it was a slowed down camera.
Well, he does like podcasts, and with podcasts you can go to like 1.5 speed.
Yeah,
maybe he was thinking that the social team would speed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But that is the concern. What you just mentioned is Aaron Rodgers never thought of as Lamar Jackson, but his movement was part of the total package. And his ability to throw on the run, and that just doesn't exist anymore. And the completion percentage last year with the Jets was abysmal, but the future Hall of Famer has signed with the Steelers, and details are starting to emerge about the contract. So, again, Rodgers, remember, he said he'd play for $10 million on McAfee, which is a cool way of saying it. It's just like calling California Cali. Just settle down.
You told me to stop doing that.
Yeah,
you yelled at me about that.
Cali.
I remember.
I'll pay for $10 million. All right, Lil Wayne. So Rodgers' contract is not worth $10 million, as he says. It's worth $13.65 for 1 year. $10 million is guaranteed, but his deal could reach over $19.5 million with incentives. Rodgers would have to play 70% of the Steelers' regular season snaps in order to be eligible for any of the incentives. He'd receive an extra $500,000 if the Steelers qualified for the postseason. A wild card victory for Rodgers if he played 50% of the game, or if his team earned a first-round bye, would mean a $600,000 bump for Rodgers. Again, on and on. $750 divisional round. And then AFC Championship game win $1 million, and then a $1.5 million incentive if he were to win the Super Bowl. Do you believe Aaron Rodgers can win the Super Bowl? My assumption is you don't. But go ahead, please.
Well, those odds would be 40-1 on him to win the Super Bowl, assuming he stays with the Steelers.
Oh, you think there's rumor? Is there
No.
scuttlebutt I'm missing?
Well, no, I mean, he could win a Super Bowl as the backup to someone else after the Steelers fall out of contention and they trade him. That's the only scenario I believe is possible for Aaron Rodgers to win a Super Bowl this year.
Well, Aaron Rodgers was announced as the Steelers' new quarterback, and we've got a lot of sound. I haven't heard any of it, so I am intrigued to hear all of it because it's always so coded. There's always more to it when it comes to Rodgers. So let's get started. Let's hear what Aaron Rodgers had to say today.
Well, you alluded to the bit of breaking news that he definitely wanted everyone to ask him about. Like, he's literally just displaying it on his left hand on the ring finger. So this is how it went down with reporters when we found out Aaron Rodgers has a wife.
Left ring finger, is that an Oura ring or anything else? That wedding ring? Anything?
Yeah, it's a wedding ring.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How long ago?
It's been a couple months.
A few more here. A few more. Talked a lot about.
Okay.
He wants to be asked, but he doesn't want to say anything about it.
Yeah, he wants to be asked and seem annoyed that he's being asked.
Yeah,
is really
guys,
what it comes
I'm very
down
private. I'm very private, even though I'll tell everyone about everything that's ever happened to me.
Private
Except for
guy
that one thing that we're not allowed to ask about.
Private guy that went on Rogan and said AIDS was government manufactured. That's no politics. That's just what he said. What else? I want to hear all of Rodgers. Let's see if we can dig into it.
All right. Aaron was asked why Pittsburgh was a good fit for him.
You know, I think it starts with Mike Tomlin. I mean, I've been a fan of his for a long time. There's a few iconic franchises in the NFL. I played for one of them for 18 years.
Why does he sound so funny?
Am I allowed to say drugs? Didn't go to DARE class?
No.
Affected his brain?
No, and if you were to say that, you would absolutely have to say alleged, but we're not saying
allegedly. Well, no, ayahuasca's drugs, and he says he's done it. So, I mean,
Okay.
that's there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What else do we have from Rodgers here?
Aaron Rodgers, why do you still want to play football?
I don't need it. For my ego, I don't need it to keep playing. A lot of decisions that I've made over my career and life from strictly the ego, even if they turn out well, are always unfulfilling. But the decisions made from the soul are usually pretty fulfilling. So this was a decision that was best for my soul. And I felt like being here with Coach T and the guys that got here and the opportunity here was the best for me. And I'm excited to be here.
Oh, my God. He is a relentless douchebag. I'm sorry. He is relentless.
He is so funny. I mean, here's the thing. It shouldn't even be funny. It's not even a bad answer, but it's just coming from him. Like,
dude,
when he says it's not from ego, but it's best for his soul, for some reason, like if SGA went up on a platform and a post-game presser and said it's not about ego, it's good for my soul, you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and maybe it's not even well, I shouldn't say it's not his fault. Maybe we shouldn't be so judgmental.
No.
But when he says it, it's just funny. It is.
He's so, the problem is it's very similar to Alex Rodriguez to me. When they speak, you can hear the calculations of when this comes out of my mouth, this is how I want to be perceived by everyone. And that's all this is. He wants everyone to say after he's done speaking, man, that is the deepest speaking athlete I've ever heard. And the reality is he's in the kiddie pool of depthness. Like, there's just not that much there.
I think he would disagree with you.
I'm sure he wants to debate it and let you know about how he's more righteous than me and he's a critical thinker and he has more ideas about the world. And I'd say, yes, you do, but they're not right.
I guess I'll just say it try to do it without judgment. There certainly is an aspect of Aaron Rodgers that you get the impression, certainly, and maybe he is. I'll qualify. Maybe he is the smartest person in any room. I'm going to leave that there. There's a possibility that he genuinely is the smartest person in every room. But the concept that he believes that others around him don't quite match up intellectually, that's where you're left a little wanting when hearing from and speaking about one A. Rodgers.
Yeah, I think it's super redeeming when the smartest person in a room actually won't come out and admit that or act that way and is curious about the rest of the people there. Aaron Rodgers can't wait to tell you what he thinks about everything. The only reason I know that is he does it everywhere all the time. And I was late on this. I actually bought into a lot of his nonsense for a while, and then I realized he just likes attention, which is something I understand a lot. Believe me, I'm going to do 2 shows tomorrow.
Yeah, if Rodgers
like
knew
attention.
you, he'd be like, "Well, how the hell is this guy talking trash about me wanting attention?"
It's just exhausting. I'm so over speaking about this human being. He has been in our brains and in the news cycle for when he does stuff, for when he doesn't do stuff, and I just don't think it's warranted anymore. I don't think he's good at football. So now it's obnoxious and annoying.
So you're saying that it gets a little tiring when somebody that you talk to all the time is constantly seeking attention?
Relax. Relax. There's no mirrors in this studio, right? Relax. Let's hear from Aaron Rodgers.
Relax. Relax is a good word. Relax is a good comeback. I think. But you know why? That comes full circle. Didn't Rodgers, wasn't he the one that said RELAX?
Yes, he did. He did. Let's hear from Rodgers. He said he's very comfortable with the staff in Pittsburgh.
Tom Arth and I have known each other since 2006. He was in my quarterback room our first offseason together. Still has the prettiest drop I've ever seen. So it was good to see him. Arthur I've known for a number of years. Obviously everybody in the Shanahan tree is close. Enjoyed our conversations over the last few months and the one-on-one times we've had in the meeting rooms looking at film and talking about the offense.
Okay. All business, Rodgers. Straight from the soul. Chicken soup for the soul, some would say.
Well, how about this, Aaron Rodgers? Why are you there? Why'd you choose Pittsburgh?
Nobody else.
It's hard to think of anything in my life that's positive that wasn't impacted by directly or indirectly by playing this game. So just want to give love back to the game, enjoy it, pass on my knowledge to my teammates, and try and find ways to help lead the team.
Okay. Hold on. A 41-year-old man has decided to dedicate his health and a year of his life after just getting married to play football because he feels he owes it to the game? Can we hear that one more time? That's my favorite one thus far. Okay, go ahead, Nia. Hit that one.
It's hard to think of anything in my life that's positive that wasn't impacted by directly or indirectly by playing this game. So just want to give love back to the game, enjoy it, pass on my knowledge to my teammates, and try and find ways to help lead the team.
Okay, so I wrote down the term. So if I am a Steelers fan, I would not be happy right now. Why? Did Aaron Rodgers come back to win a championship? No. Did he come back to win a division? No. He, quote, came back to give love back to the game. Why? Why do you believe that we believe you're literally coming back to spread the love of football?
But then also, why are you making $13 million? If it's for the love of the game, you do the league minimum. You just want to be there. You'll pay them. What? And your joke you made as he started speaking about why he ended up in Pittsburgh is 100% true. Where else was he going? Because I know there's another quarterback down in Atlanta, and Kirk Cousins, we questioned where he might go. There are no openings for him anymore. This was the last one. It was either Cousins or Rodgers. And in the end, Pittsburgh didn't have to trade for Rodgers. All they had to do was sign him.
Did he happen to mention, I know we have more clips from, and we're talking here VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. We'll get to the betting information when it comes to Rodgers and the Steelers. Did he happen to mention in any of the clips why he specifically chose the Steelers?
Let's go number 6, Nia. Let's see what he says here, because in regards to that, he mentions that this wasn't the only team that reached out for his services.
I mean, I think there was conversations with other organizations for sure, but again, the rapport that fell in between me and Mike made it to where, as I was going through my personal stuff, there wasn't any other option for me. It was here and not play.
Well, that makes sense, actually. That makes sense. Because the Giants were desperate. They weren't going to wait. They weren't going to wait for whatever he had going on outside of football. And that's why they made the move for Russell Wilson. So that eliminated them from the conversation.
He keeps on bringing up the personal stuff. And again, I mean this. If you're going through something, I don't want anybody, Rodgers, anybody, to have to go through any turmoil in their family. I don't know if somebody's sick. I don't know anything. But that's no time to virtue signal or no time to fish. Just keep it. In the process of a turmoil, something very good happened in his life, and that's that he got married. So must not have been. Anyway, I don't know. It's just it's very unbecoming. Most of these clips are unbecoming. What else we got from Rodgers?
Let's see. Number 9 here talks about what he's going to be, who he's going to be as a veteran on the Steelers team.
Well, I think I just want to be a servant leader here and just pass on the knowledge that I have with 20 years, the experience, and just try and fit in with the guys, get to know them, let them get to know me, and just enjoy the process.
Your point is so right. If those words came out of someone else's mouth, I'd be like, that's a good quote. It's a really solid teammate. Seems like a good guy. For some reason, hearing his voice say those words, I don't trust him. I just don't like him, and he seems obnoxious.
He's going to let them get to know him. Steelers fans, 888-623-3646. Maybe Steelers fans are excited. I'll leave room for that possibility. He is letting you know that he's playing for the Steelers this year to, quote, give love back to the game. Okay.
I think Aaron Rodgers is done. Most of my issues with signing him as a quarterback is I just think he's moved slowly. The decision making's not there anymore. You're not getting the player you think you're getting. You're getting a name from 5 years ago that was awesome. That was an MVP. However, I'll admit this. There's probably a 2% chance I'm wrong, and that 2% chance I'm wrong has the upside to be really awesome and special. It's just I don't see it being the likely outcome of Aaron Rodgers in 2025.
Yeah, for being completely honest, I'm sure he's a prideful person. Doesn't have an ego, as he's repeated in every clip.
Let you know.
But you probably have to have a healthy ego at 41 to be playing the position of quarterback. Not many people have done it throughout history. So he's back to spread love, and he's one of the all-time greats. So much as we want to clown right now, as far as arm talent, maybe he's top 3, and he's one of the all-time great quarterbacks. So maybe he will surprise, and maybe Pittsburgh Steelers fans will be happy with the 1-year deal of Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers. Any other clips from your boy?
Let's see. We played almost all of them. Let's go with number 2, Naya. He didn't sign until he was ready.
I don't want to shortchange the guys and be, sign, but be elsewhere mentally or physically. So until I could be here and be all in, I needed to take care of my business.
I hear you, brother.
He's like, yeah, this stuff going on. Don't ask me about it, but I'm just going to routinely just bring it up over and over again, that I had stuff going on that I can't talk about, so don't ask about it. But there was stuff going on preventing me from being here. There was a lot of stuff.
There was a lot of stuff. All right. Is that it as far as Rodgers, or we got
let's just, for good measure, let's play them all. Let's go the last one here. Number 5, about the city of Pittsburgh.
No, I mean, this is a blue-collar town. The history of this great area is building the structure of the country. So a lot of great people here, great fan base. We played here over the years. They even got their own song they play, late in the third or in the fourth quarter. But it's a special place to play sports.
Well, he is right about that. Pittsburgh is part of the backbone of America, and it's a great sports town. I think the Steelers are the best fan base in all of football, so I would agree with them there. And hardworking town, blue-collar town, and Rodgers can certainly relate flying in from Malibu.
Similar problems. They have very similar problems. Aaron Rodgers and the people of Pittsburgh. They go home and complain about the same thing to their wives now that he has a wife.
I would say the champagne problems are a little different in the Malibu, and obviously Pittsburgh. That's not even a joke. If you thought of a blue-collar town and the antithesis in all of America and every single town lined up in America, Malibu would be the opposite of blue collar.
Oh yeah, no, it would be the antithesis of everything they believe in. And now those people are rooting for a guy in Aaron Rodgers, who also, I think it's fair to question, does he really care about football the way he used to? Because he has so many other interests, it appears. I mean, is he going to watch film? Or is he going to watch a bunch of YouTubes on the pyramids late at night? What's he going to do? How is he going to balance that?
It could be. My guess is the locker room banter will be very conspiracy theory based.
Yeah.
Like his linemen are, when he walks out of the room, are going to roll their eyes when, again, the earth being flat was brought up.
Yeah, he's going to throw a pass to DK Metcalf, and when they go back to the sidelines, he'll be like, the way you ran, it's as if you were really on the moon, what it would have looked like. But the video we got was not what it should have looked like. That's how you know that it's a sham. We got there. We got there. Relax. Relax.
Why are you telling me to relax? I'm laughing at your joke.
Because I stumbled like 7 times.
It's okay, brother. Okay, Rodgers is a Steeler. And we'll see what a Steeler fan thinks. Let's go to Pittsburgh here on VSiN Live and say hi to AJ. AJ, welcome.
Hey, guys. Love the show.
Thank you.
Love the banner back and forth. It's awesome. Just a quick thought. We're talking about a guy that only finished second to Josh Allen in touchdown passes even last year, coming off a terrible injury to be that age, because I am that age, and I'm here to tell you, you don't recover nowhere near like you did when you were 20. But also, we're talking about a guy that threw, 1,200 more yards than Russell Wilson, 12 touchdowns more than Russell Wilson. Even if he just plays like last year and has, let's say, the exact same stats he had last year, let's just say exactly the same, he's still going to be twice as good as Russell Wilson was for us. That's just my opinion. Now, I don't agree with the 1-year signing. That part, I didn't understand. You put your future on hold. You didn't draft Shador or, somebody. I get it. Will Howard, he might be great. I don't know. Learning from Aaron, he might end up being great. He's the same size as Josh Allen, for God's sake. So I don't know. He might be. But I just didn't understand putting your future on hold quarterback-wise with an aging defense and some veterans on that team for 1 year.
AJ, let me ask you, because you heard when you were on hold, you heard me say I truly believe the Steelers fans are the best in the NFL. That's not even joking. So let me ask you, what do you think the split is on Steelers fans with Rodgers? Are mostly in favor of the signing?
I think in the beginning when we had to wait because we were impatient and we don't understand why we're waiting on our future, why we're not going after our future, why we didn't trade up in the first round and try to get one of those guys. I mean, whatever we had to do. Because obviously we're never going to be as terrible as we were when we got Ben Roethlisberger. That 1 year we had a terrible year with Tommy Maddox and that whole, debacle, and we were able to get Ben in the top 10. We know we're never going to be that bad, so we're very impatient. We didn't want to wait. We want somebody that wants to be with us. But when you find out that 2 people close to him had cancer and he was getting married, I mean, at 40 that means a little bit more than, he doesn't have to prove anything to any of us. But now that he's here, he's going to have to produce or we're going to boo him out of that stadium. That's what's going to happen.
Ooh, I like it, AJ. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Is that true? Was that the personal stuff? 2 people had cancer?
I think that's what people have speculated. I haven't seen confirmation, and I love AJ. It was a great call. I just have to push back on one thing. He's right. Rodgers threw for 1,200 more yards than Wilson, but he played in 17 games, Rodgers. Wilson played in 11, and if you go yards per game, Rodgers averaged just 4 yards more per game, and his team was losing more than Russell Wilson's was. So I don't know if he's an upgrade over Russell Wilson.
Here's the problem I have with him. The expected completion percentage was there's 2 players better than him. One was Anthony Richardson, who isn't a quarterback, full stop.
No.
The other was the redhead donk in Dallas, Cooper Rush.
He has red hair? He has red hair? Cooper Rush?
I don't know. But you understand the point. Not the hair, the completion percentage, trifling.
Well, he's a backup. You're right. He is a ginger. I didn't realize that.
All right. Well, you'll sleep well tonight. The Rodgers problem is, especially in an Arthur Smith offense, is that again, he just does not like his back to the defense and running play action like Arthur Smith wants to. This is not the offense for him. And also, they just don't have, and AJ or whomever as Pittsburgh fans will agree, outside of Metcalf, you have nothing. Metcalf's not exactly the precise route runner that Rodgers is going to be buddying up to. He's going to be pissed.
No, what's Rodgers' MO? His bread and butter was hitting those guys in those slants where he knows exactly where they're going to be and the timing's perfect. Metcalf's a guy, sure, he can take a slant a long way, but the thing he does best is outspeed and out physical guys. I think you want him running a lot of go routes and stuff like that, going man coverage and just going deep. And does Rodgers have the strength to hit those shots still?
I'm sure Arthur Smith and these guys are much smarter and know more about football than we'll ever know. So my guess is the quick drops, get rid of the ball quickly is going to be a part of the arsenal. But that's the problem. You have to curtail your offense around Rodgers at this point because he's just not as diverse. He's just not at that place in his career. I don't even know if Rodgers would disagree with that.
Also, with a more mobile quarterback last year, two of them, right? Fields and Wilson, both more mobile at this point than Aaron Rodgers. They had offensive line issues. I just sent you the video. Please watch the video of him doing drills. It looks like he's got weights on his ankles. He does not move that well. He's 41. He's been through the ringer at this point. He's not supposed to, but he looks like a guy who's lost not just one, maybe 2 or 3 steps at this point.
Well, yeah, but the video you sent me, he was definitely just kind of going through the motions. But you know what I'm saying.
Sluggish. Still sluggish.
That's the Judge home run. Judge hit one to the moon today.
469. By the way, they have 7 runs, so I cleared my 5.5.
All right, good job by you. The Pittsburgh thing is interesting because AJ or Steelers fans know Pittsburgh wanted Justin Fields back. That is factual. They just smartly, or however you believe this, they just had a price and they weren't willing to pay over that price. But they wanted Justin Fields back, and Fields got paid a lot of money, pretty good money with the Jets.
Yeah, I think they looked at Fields as a potential for development in year 2, right? A lot of these quarterbacks, they don't get the opportunity to have the same playbook back-to-back years, and people give up on them. This was a chance for Fields to know exactly what he was going to walk into, also not have to look over his shoulder. He got acclimated to things his first year there, and it was an opportunity to take over with potentially at that time Pickens and Metcalf, which would have been really interesting. Instead, the Jets saw something in Fields, and they paid a lot of money that Pittsburgh wasn't willing to do. So now they go to plan B. I wonder if Aaron Rodgers feels that way. Does he feel like he really was plan B?
Who'd they replace that iceberg Najee Harris with?
Well, one, they still have Jalen Warren. They drafted a kid out of Iowa, Caleb Johnson, who's probably just going to be a first and second down back. I think that kid 30-1 has an interesting case for Offensive Rookie of the Year because they love to run the football.
Win total is set at 8.5. They are right around 5-1 in division. Last time I checked.
550.
But you can't do anything with them in division when you have the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals ahead of them.
No. And this could spin the other way really quickly on them. I mean, if Rodgers gets hurt or he looks as old as I think he's going to look, I mean, what do they do? If it's late in the year and you only have like 4 wins and you know you're not making the playoffs, does Rodgers even finish the year there? That's the question I have.
I just would love to hear the conversation in Malibu with Rodgers as a newlywed, where obviously when you get married, you love the person. So he was giving love to his wife, and I don't mean it in the way that Dustin's brain just went, but obviously you love each other, and he let her know, sitting right there, Malibu, Pacific Ocean, and said, I love you, but I feel as though I need to give love back to the game.
Look,
with that being said, yes, the sunset is beautiful in Malibu. Pack up. We're moving to Pittsburgh to give love back.
I'm going to love you forever, but I have to finish my love for the game. I have to get it out of my system. There's a little bit left to squeeze.
He doesn't seem like the type of person that would marry somebody that's like, may I give my opinion?
I was gonna say, do you believe there was a discussion in the Rodgers household now that he's married? Yeah.
Where she was like, quick opinion on Pittsburgh, and he was just like, anyway, congratulations to the newlyweds.
He definitely signed the deal before she even knew she was moving to Pittsburgh. That was my point.
Yeah, I don't think she had much to say.
He came home with the contract, said we're moving to Pittsburgh.
Unless the breaking news is she's from Pittsburgh.
That, you know what? That would be a plot twist. That would be a
better chance she's from Bali.
Wait, isn't the owner of the Steelers' daughter a famous actress? Kate Rooney, something Rooney?
Maybe so. Maybe so. You might be onto something. But what you
Rooney
want to come
Mara?
back and do?
Wrong one.
Mara is the Giants.
Yeah.
Do you want to come back and do more NFL with 3-point stance?
Yeah. On top of those incentives, we do have Stephon Diggs speaking for the first time since he was slapping those cheeks on a boat.
Speaking of giving love back, it's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
every single day.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
This is 3 Point Stance.
Go play intramurals, brother.
Hey, U.S. Open Radio, Channel 92 is the place to preview golf's national championship. Hear from experts, current and former players all week long. And then on Thursday, we'll bring you live coverage from the Oakmont Country Club. It's all on U.S. Open Radio, Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app. Okay, you heard the imaging there, 3 Point Stance. NFL news, we were just talking about the Aaron Rodgers deal. He is officially a Pittsburgh Steeler. What else do we have here, big guy?
All right, well, a couple weeks ago on the program, a lot of discussion about what's in the bag, and that was Stephon Diggs' little plastic bag while he was on a yacht, Pink Substance, while he was hanging out with a bunch of, how do I word this, women who are models on Instagram. That's the nicest way I can say it. And they
is
were
that
having
a
good
dream
time.
of yours?
No, I'm in a relationship. That is not a dream anymore.
Okay.
It once was.
To hang out with a bunch of Insta models?
Yeah, but like, what was I gonna do?
Talk to him about balancing portfolios. Like, what would,
yeah. Building a parlay.
Yeah, I hear you.
Anyway, Stephon Diggs did go to Patriots camp today, and he spoke to the media for the first time since the video surfaced of that pink substance, and here's how that went.
Ooh.
Obviously, I want to be as candid with you guys as possible. I kind of like have a thing where talk about my personal life with people I don't know personally. I'm pretty sure everybody here, men and women, are great people, but I kind of keep my personal life personal. I had a conversation with Graves, obviously. I'm going to echo everything that he said. He told me, hoping everybody make a good decision. And I had a conversation with people in the building as well. So, everything else is everything else. In particular, is all eternal.
I mean, I don't have a problem with his answer. It's none of your business. He kindly said, my personal life is none of your business. Is that did the big guy freeze? Now you can get my ear, or you can jump on the air just to tell. The big guy froze. Now, you should have seen the picture of one Dustin Swedelson. I mean, it was quite a profile. You could send that to GQ magazine of the way the big guy was posing, and it was amazing. I just saw it again. It's a beautiful shot. There it is. Look at him at VSiN Live on YouTube. If you'd like to see it, he has a very pensive look about him, and he is broadcasting live from the SiriusXM studios at the Wynn, and apparently he froze out. So we'll get the big guy back. But Stephon Diggs, and I'll say this about the Stephon Diggs situation, I genuinely think there's been some reports, obviously out of camp, that Drake May, I think we would all agree, coming out of the draft last year, obviously Caleb Williams, better than what the numbers, and the numbers probably are a little bit better than what you remember of the rookie quarterback who went 1 overall to the Bears. Probably a little bit better than you remember. And also, he had the worst offensive scheme, the worst offensive coordinator for a lot of the year. They moved on from him. That is a completely tumultuous situation for a rookie to be walking into. Caleb Williams was in a shitstorm in Chicago. There's just no other way around it with a defensive-minded head coach. So I think still yet to be determined. I think most would think Williams is going to be a very good quarterback. And Ben Johnson, and when I tell you again, I know it's annoying, but I've mentioned it a million times. Ben Johnson is the greatest play caller as far as just calling plays. Now, he got a little cute in the championship game against the Commanders. Certainly, J-Mo, you don't want him throwing passes when you haven't done it all year. But Ben Johnson, pound for pound, is the best play caller in football, and I think the glow-up from Caleb Williams is going to be legit this year. Jaden Daniels, if he stays healthy, he's going to the Hall of Fame. And, prisoner, no, eyeballs. You watch Jaden Daniels play with no talent outside of Terry McLaurin around him. Brian Robinson's not a very good running back at all. An offensive line that was meh, and an aging tight end in Zach Ertz, and they went to a championship game. That's about as crazy as it gets. When you're talking about Daniels, the arm strength is plus, the accuracy was plus, the movement is Lamar Jackson-like, and the leadership is off the charts. Jaden Daniels is the perfect quarterback. Washington hit it big. Drake May, and that's what we're talking about with the Patriots. When you saw Drake May, and I was surprised, the athleticism's more than you think. We know how strong, we know what arm talent the kid has, and I think you could walk away from last year if you're a Patriots fan like, we absolutely have the future of our franchise. Absolutely have the future of your franchise and Drake May. So I think that goes without saying. Having said that, you wipe out Mayo, and there was a lot to the Mayo situation. Robert Kraft hated Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick hates Robert Kraft. That wasn't new. You don't have to read the Belichick book and notice the absence of a guy he spent 20-plus years with and won 1 million championships, and that's Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, to know there's animosity. You go look at the sanctioned documentary, which was done by the Patriots, essentially, and it's not overly favorable to Bill Belichick. So we understand that Belichick and Kraft hated each other for a long time. We get that. However, Mayo's hire was a joke within circles, and again, not going to say who told me, but people within the know in the NFL knew that the Mayo hire was a ridiculous. It was Kraft's way of usurping Belichick by saying, we already have the next head coach in waiting. If you believe the reports, Mayo was on the team flights playing cards with the boys. Mayo, you could just watch him on the sideline, really didn't seem to have much of a clue as to what was going on. It lasted exactly 1 year, and I guess you give him credit. You take some hits for the hire in itself, hiring a guy that had no experience, was essentially selling insurance, and then you bring him in Mayo, and he's a 1-year disaster. So you need to settle things down. And the way you settle things down is you go and get a guy that everybody said is the greatest thing since sliced bread. The reason Vrabel left Tennessee is not because of his coaching acumen, it's because he rubbed people the wrong way. He rubbed the general manager at the time the wrong way. Now that general manager is gone. They brought in a new general manager. He did go through a hiring cycle and wasn't hired, which does make you question, makes you wonder if Vrabel is that highly sought after and that highly thought about. Why the hell would he not just be scooped up like in 5 minutes? To quote Rob Ryan, I'll be unemployed for like 5 minutes. But nothing made more sense than Vrabel, a Patriot legend, returning. Early reports, everybody loves Vrabes. Vrabes has the culture on point. He's going to turn the franchise around. And remember, Vrabel really started to get credit for his coaching chops in the playoff game against the Patriots when he was coaching the Titans, and he was kind of going gamesmanship-wise. He was going mano-a-mano with Bill Belichick. Everybody said Vrabes might be on a different level. All right? So you bring in Vrabel. No problem there. All of a sudden, you're starting to build a young team. You don't have a ton of talent, but the win total has skyrocketed because of the vibes surrounding second-year May, Vrabel in his first year. It can't be any worse than what we saw last year, right? So you're scouring, and you need talent. They don't have a ton of talent outside. So you're scouring. Okay, what are you looking for to support a young quarterback? You're looking for a good locker room guy. All right? You're looking for somebody that is in their prime or entering their prime on the outside so you can learn and grow with Drake May, the quarterback. All right? That's number 2. So what do? They go out and get Stephon Diggs, who is the opposite of in his prime. And if we're to, I guess, Josh Allen's dad and what happened with the Texans, first off, Diggs was awesome with the Bills. The Bills got better when he left. Why? Many in the Bills organization have come out and said, well, the vibes were better around the organization. Okay. Diggs signs with, obviously, the Texans. The Texans, 1 year in, can't wait to get off the Diggs experiment. And the Texans have skill outside, so if it's a complimentary piece at 31, whatever Diggs' age is at this point, he's actually the perfect component for the Texans, and the Texans couldn't wait to get rid of Diggs. So we said it at the time. How does everything I just laid out, the Mayo experiment, Drake May year 2, this is going to be his team. What was the issue with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs? You always had to worry about keeping Stephon Diggs happy. That made Allen miserable. Why would you, if you're the Patriots, put Drake May in that position? And I don't even have a problem. Like, whatever was happening on the boat, I don't care if there's drugs involved. I don't care if there's internet thoughts involved. I don't care if it's Insta chicks. I don't care what people do in their private life. That's just not my business. But on what planet? Now, again, do you come back for OTAs? You don't have to answer any questions about your personal life. But the point is, he's being asked about it because that is Stephon Diggs. It just literally, of the 32 NFL franchises, I'm not sure a fit for Diggs made any less sense than the Patriots. Just no way. Like, literally, that's the one team that shouldn't have signed him. But they did. And there you hear it. And by the way, I do think May is going to be special. I was blown away by his athleticism. We've always known about the arm strength. That quarterback class has the potential to be something. Because you throw Penix in the mix, they may, down in Atlanta, they may pay Cousins more than any backup's ever been paid because they want to start Penix with the surprise pick. And Penix, I thought, handled himself well and will be better in year 2. And a good leader. That's what you know about Penix. And we're going to find out about McCarthy up in Minnesota because McCarthy's going to be the starter. That could end up being an all-time draft class. Just kind of jumping off the Diggs into May into Vrabes with the Patriots. So that's that. Let's see what Swedelson has to say here. Zoom died, no internet. Now let me ask you a question. Have you ever been to Vegas? Most of you have. When you go to Vegas, where do you go? Well, I lived in Vegas for 3 years, so I can tell you one thing. If you're looking for essential, there's a couple of very bougie properties. The Cosmopolitan's a bougie property. Bellagio's a bougie property. None are more upscale than the Wynn. Dustin was broadcasting today from the Wynn, SiriusXM Studios, which are gorgeous, and they just lost internet. I would make a suggestion. Auto pay. Now, this is to the Wynn bill payers because I have this. I literally don't even look at my bills. It just gets taken out. Who wants to balance a checkbook? Hey, Wynn, Resort and Casino, pay your internet bill. When we come back, we're betting Game 4, obviously, Stanley Cup final coming up, and then Game 3 tomorrow night in Naptown. Pacers hosting the Thunder. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. up today's show. You see what I did there? Yeah. By finishing all of the conversations we touched on today. This is Closing Tabs.
All right, we'll close tabs before we get the hell out of here. Internet has been paid at the Wynn. Dustin Swedelson hanging out at the Wynn SiriusXM studios, which are beautiful, and they are even prettier when the internet works. As we welcome you back, we're going to close tabs. I was just saying, because the last thing that before you froze, last thing we were talking about was Stephon Diggs, and I agree. Stephon Diggs he doesn't owe anybody any answers about hanging out with thoughts on a boat. However, I mean this, and we've talked about it before. Of the 32 teams in the NFL, I can't think of a worse fit than the New England Patriots for Stephon Diggs.
No, and there's a lot of hype around them. And you always want to be wary of those trendy teams, especially with like win total bets and futures tickets where they're almost so trendy. It's like everything that can go wrong will. And then on him answering the question, unless he really broke team rules, you're right. He doesn't owe anyone an answer. However, I would like to know more about that substance in case it's something I'd like to partake in.
No, but you wouldn't. You wouldn't. You would never take a drug because you're too paranoid about stuff.
Yeah, no, my heart can barely handle 2 cups of coffee. I don't think I can handle whatever was in that bag.
I don't think you're taking pink Molly or whatever the hell it was. All right, let's close tabs before we get the hell out of here.
Earlier in the show, we mentioned California Chrome, the horse that won the 2014 Kentucky Derby and Preakness Stakes. Also won the 2016 Dubai World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Is that normal for 2 years later, the horse that won those 2 races to still be running?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, everybody handles the horses differently. What was fascinating about California Chrome is one of the greatest stories in the history of horse racing because California Chrome costs just a couple $1,000s. And California Chrome had no breeding history. Like
was that
his
Art
mom
Sherman?
and dad, Art Sherman was the trainer, a legendary old school trainer here at Santa Anita, but meaning there was no lineage that would suggest you have like an all-time horse. And that's what California Chrome ended up being. Generally, for example, Sovereignty, Into Mischief, a great horse. We talked about journalism. His dad was Curlin, an all-time great horse. Like, there was no lineage with California Chrome. It's a fascinating story.
And interesting you brought up Curlin. In 2016, California Chrome passed Curlin as the all-time leading North American horse in earnings won.
Yeah, no, Chrome was a great horse. And we actually saw Chrome. Chrome won the Derby, the Preakness, Dubai World Cup, and a bunch of other races, and almost won a Breeders' Cup Classic against Arrogate, who was a great horse, and I think set the record at the Travers.
Arrogate, that's your horse, Arrogate.
Yeah, but I also love Chrome. Chrome was Chrome with time, like presidents, how you analyze presidents. Like Harry Truman had a terrible review when he got done, and now he's thought of as an all-time great. Chrome with time will be thought of even in a brighter light.
Okay, next one up. This is now, for those who missed it, the big news on the show. This is now an Indiana Pacers show. We have shifted. We're all about them. They have an opportunity here. Things are exactly how they want it to be, and you started listing off people from Indiana, and I might overlap here. Tried to find some other names from Indiana. Kurt Vonnegut, I feel like that's a guy that people who smoke a lot of weed and wear sandals talk about.
Great American author.
James Dean.
Great American actor.
John Wooden.
Great American coach.
And now the greatest American frontman in the history of rock and roll, Axl Rose, also from Indiana.
Great American singer. I like that. Good job by you. Wow,
So
I didn't
Benjamin
know Vonnegut. I did that. Vonnegut. That's fascinating. He's from Indiana.
And then Benjamin Harrison as well.
Yeah, Harrison. Yeah, I believe Harrison was born in Ohio, but Indiana was who he represented as president. Correct.
Okay. You brought up the song What's My Age Again, Blink-182, released as the lead single from their third album, Enema of the State, in April 1999. That is a 10 out of 10 album.
It is, brother. Listen, like I said about California Chrome and Harry Truman, Blink-182, years from now, will be respected more. Hall of Fame band. What?
You want me to sneak one more in?
Yeah, go for it.
I can confirm people with red hair are considered minorities.
Shout out to my dad, the big guy. Naya, thank you. Ryan, thank you. Samich, Thank you. Goulet and the crew at the Win, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio.